Hello and welcome to a very special Christmas episode of the Weekly Stuff Podcast with Jonathan Lack.
And Sean Chapman.
We are here to talk about stuff on what is today Christmas Eve in the United States and around the world, I guess, depends on when you get this podcast. And we're recording this a little bit early because we'll be out doing holiday stuff, but we are both back home in Colorado, so we're in the same room for the first time in a little bit. So that's nice.
Back in the basement again.
Back in the basement again. I can see your posters. I see your King Kong poster, your Persona Shrine. We just played some Super Smash Brothers and some Dragon Ball on your nice TV. So that was fun. I get to be envious of that. You know, it's a good time.
It's a very good TV.
It's a very good TV. It was a lot of fun to play some video games. How you been, Sean?
I've been pretty good. We've been on break for a couple of days now from when we were recording this podcast, and it has been nice. I've played a lot of Hitman.
I've played a lot of Smash Brothers and some other games. We'll talk about all that. I'm currently, working hard on my top 10 games of the year list, which will be next week's episode. I have my 10 nailed down. Do you, Sean?
No.
Okay.
Because I should stop playing Hitman 2 and play a couple of other games, but I can't stop playing Hitman because I'm done playing Hitman 2, but they put Hitman 1 in Hitman 2, and so I've been playing some Hitman 1 and Hitman 2. I'm like, this is stupid. I can play this whenever. I should play something else, but it is very hard to not play Hitman for me.
Well, in the spirit of the season, we're going to do a couple of different holiday-related topics today, including one that is a complete surprise to all the listeners and to Sean.
Yes.
So that'll be later. It will be a surprise review of something. You'll see. It's going to be good. Then, let's see. We have a piece of Christmas listener mail. I should check if we have any other listener mail. But we're going to do that. We're going to talk about some video games. That's not holiday-related or anything, but we're going to do that. And we're just going to take it easy and have a fun time. And hopefully this is something that you can listen to, if your family is annoying you or something. And that should be fun, right?
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, let's do it. Sean, first off, I got you a present in the spirit of the season.
Okay.
So here's your Christmas present.
Jonathan has just handed me a bag that has a thing in it that is wrapped in some paper very loosely.
Very loosely.
Oh, it is another issue of Spider-Man.
Yes.
Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, issue 80. I read this issue digitally, not what has been like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yes, I got it for you
waterfront.
Because of the cover.
It's good.
It's a phenomenal cover. I thought this would be a good one to put on the wall or something.
Yes.
And you should describe what's on the cover.
I mean, so it's J. Jonah Jameson, his image big on the left, and then his girlfriend at the time, now wife, Marla Madison, on the right, with flames in the background, and then in the foreground, there's Spider-Man beating up some thugs. But and up on the top right of the image, it says "Hero of the People" inside of a police shield, obviously referring to the spectacular J. Jonah Jameson, as the cover says at the top.
Awesome. Yeah, so I had to get this one for you because I was looking around in the comic shop, and I was just basically because I know I'm not going to be able to get you, the one where Gwen Stacy dies or something,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a good cover because ultimately, if you're going to have one in print, you want a good cover. And this one looks like the poster for Casablanca, it looks like the poster for Gone with the Wind.
Yes,
but with J. Jonah Jameson, and he's chomping on the cigar and everything. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I think I might have actually talked about this issue on the podcast after I read it.
That's crazy.
Yes, I cover the waterfront. So this is the one that is from J. Jonah's perspective, and he goes and decides, I'm going to, because Marla Madison, this girl I'm hot on, thinks I'm weak shit now, I'm going to prove that I can still be this rough and tumble journalist and go cover this whole, I think it's like a drug operation or something on the waterfront. And the whole time Spider-Man is in the background, actually secretly taking care of the business while Jameson thinks that he's doing everything the right way. So this is a great issue. Thank you very much. It's not just a great cover, it's a great issue also.
That's good. See, because I don't know anything about these, but I'm glad I inadvertently got you an issue you really like.
Yes.
That's good.
It is Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man, issue number 80.
So, is Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man different than the Spectacular Spider-Man?
No, when they first launched the line, they called it Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Okay.
Eventually, they just shortened it down to the Spectacular Spider-Man because they launched another line of comics in the 90s, I think, called Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Interesting. Okay, because when I was at the comic shop, there was both Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man, and I had no idea what the difference was.
it's supremely confusing.
Yes. So, I mean, Spider-Man is a confusing one to shop for because he's got so many different lines, and if this comic shop is alphabetizing, which luckily this one just put it all under Spider-Man, then you could have Amazing Spider-Man in a totally different place than Spectacular Spider-Man, then Ultimate Spider-Man, then Superior Spider-Man.
In Marvel Knights Spider-Man and the Untold Web of Spider-Man. It's like fucking, there's so many.
But I feel like this is a podcast tradition now, is every once in a while when we see each other, I bring you a Spider-Man comic. Because they are again, because I am not buying you like the one where Gwen Stacy dies, they're a very cheap way to brighten everyone's day.
And I like the tradition of just picking the one that has the silliest cover.
It's good. I think it's a good way to... For me, who knows nothing about... It has led me well so far, because this is a good issue.
Yes, this is a good issue. I enjoy the Spider-Mobile one that you got last time, when the Tinkerer takes over the Spider-Mobile. That's a good one.
I mean, if the villain is named the Tinkerer, that's already pretty good.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, that's our Christmas present round. Then, let's see. Sean, we have results of our poll. We did a poll last week to see what movie series you guys want us to review in the new year. We will be starting this probably in January or February when we get to do our next... Although, who the fuck knows? There's too many games coming out.
Yeah.
But when we next make time for it, we will be doing... Drumroll.
Don't hit the table.
I'm not going to hit the table. We are going to be doing the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It won the poll with 55% of the vote, so a very decisive vote. Dark Knight trilogy came in second with 23%. All 26 Zatoichi movies got more of the vote than I thought. Got a solid 13%. And the Sergio Leone Dollars trilogy only got 9%. So that's not happening anytime soon. But we're definitely doing Lord of the Rings. Are you excited for that, Sean?
I'm excited for that. I'm disappointed that Zatoichi... I thought about putting my vote in for Zatoichi, but I thought that would be immoral.
Okay.
So I refrained from doing that.
No one would have known.
I'm glad that Zatoichi got any votes.
Yes.
And I feel like maybe the way it was presented in the poll meant that saying that all 26 Zatoichi movies instead of saying select number of Zatoichi movies maybe skewed the results. I don't know.
Well, next time we do this, after we do Lord of the Rings, we can adjust the poll parameters.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, now the question is, Lord of the Rings, are we doing theatrical or extended?
It's extended because I don't have theatrical versions of Return of the King. I think I have theatrical DVDs of the first two movies.
Interesting. Okay. We will do the extended cuts then. I might, on my own, also watch the theatrical cuts just to, be able to be the nerd on the podcast, being like, that's what they added and that's what they didn't, and this is how they're different. But because it's been forever since I've watched those versions.
Yes, it has been a very long time.
But yeah,
since the movie theater, since I saw the Return of the King one, I can tell you that much.
I have to say, I'm glad that won the poll though, because I've been wanting to rewatch those movies. It's been a while. I think it feels like the right thing to do in the line we've been doing of Star Wars, Spider-Man. Because I feel like they not that the Lord of the Rings movies are in need of critical reevaluation the same way, but I do feel like that obviously we went through the whole thing with The Hobbit a few years ago, and it's like, well, maybe we need to go watch the good stuff and reorient ourselves.
I mean, it does feel like we're kind of ignoring the original trilogy of Star Wars because that Star Wars project started out as the prequel movies, and then we enjoyed it so much we eventually extended it to the original movies. What we're really doing is going to the late 90s and early 2000s and looking at the most important movies to us from that period.
We are, yes.
And reevaluating them. So it is, I do feel like it follows naturally in that line.
Yeah, I don't know what else would be another trilogy from there. This might be the last one from that specific period, unless we do the X-Men trilogy, which we're not going to do.
No.
Because those movies are obsolete, we might say. All right, so Sean, what else have we got? Okay, I have a piece of listener mail.
Okay.
So this will lead to our first mini topic here, because Anthony on Twitter asked what my favorite Christmas movie was, or our favorite Christmas movies. I don't know if do you have any?
I'm not a huge Christmas movie person. The one thing, I won't say what I was going to say. I want to hear your list first.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I have not watched Christmas movies actively in a couple of years. I just haven't been in the mood usually around Christmas. Because honestly, frequently when it's around Christmas, I'm either catching up on movies for top 10 time, and that means I'm not doing Christmas movies, or it's just I've finished a semester of school with film stuff, and I'm just feeling like I don't want to watch movies. So It's been a while, but I do have a good experience with Christmas movies. So I'm going to talk about a couple of these. I made a very impromptu list, and by this I mean 10 minutes before I left for your house, Sean, I banged this list out.
Great.
And I have my 10 favorite Christmas movies and 5 worst Christmas movies.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's start with the favorites. So I'll just count down on this. Number 10, I am very annoyed by how much Twitter likes to argue these days over whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Okay, that's the thing I was going to bring up.
Okay, yeah. It's the stupidest fucking argument. If it's a Christmas movie to you, fine. If it's not, fine. But shut the ever-loving fuck up about it. We've been litigating this for so long, and people get so weirdly offended by it, and it just doesn't matter. So even though Die Hard would be one of my favorite movies set on Christmas, it's not on this list. It's lost its position because of annoying people, and I have replaced it with a movie that I think also needs to be rehabilitated as a Christmas movie because it is more of a Christmas movie, and I've got Batman Returns. Tim Burton's second Batman movie takes place entirely on Christmas. It starts with Batman strapping a bomb wrapped in a gift-like box to a thug's chest and then blowing him up. It's really grisly. It's crazy. You've got the fucking Penguin. You've got Max Schreck, played by Christopher Walken. You've got Catwoman, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. It's just an awesome movie. It's the best Tim Burton Batman movie. It's just one of my favorite Batman things. And I think it's a pretty cheerful, not at all dour Christmas movie.
Okay, interesting choice.
Yeah, so that's my number 10.
Yes, because the thing I was going to say that I didn't want to say because I didn't know if you were... Because I don't think we've ever talked about the Die Hard Christmas movie thing. I don't think... Not on the podcast.
Yeah, no.
I mean, us as people. I'm not sure that's ever come up. And I'm glad that we're both in agreement. It's fucking stupid.
Yes.
I don't give a shit. I don't care if you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie personally and you put it on a... I don't care. The only thing I hate is whenever someone does the thing of because this has happened to me on the internet, and it's also happened to me in personal life multiple times, of somebody like, oh, hey, what's your favorite Christmas movie? And only ask that question to then fish because you say whatever, Nightmare Before Christmas, I don't fucking know. That's a different argument. But they only ask you that because they can say, oh, my favorite is Die Hard, because Die Hard's a totally Christmas movie. And that's their fucking interesting thing about them as a human being, is that they think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And I hate those people.
I know. Because I remember when this started to be a joke 10 years ago. And now it's so mainstream, but people still think it's subversive in some way, and it's not. So that's why I went with Batman Returns.
Okay, I will choose to respect that choice.
Number 9 is Mickey's Christmas Carol. These are not all feature-length films, I should say.
Okay.
But Mickey's Christmas Carol, it's one of 4 Christmas carols I have on this list. It's a good Christmas carol. It's 25 minutes long and somehow really does justice to the Charles Dickens book. It's remarkably faithful. It has the scariest version of the Scrooge sees his own gravestone scene. Do you remember that, Sean, in this version?
Yes.
It's fucked up.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, it's traumatizing. It's also Scrooge McDuck, his first appearance in animation, which is awesome. It was not his first appearance as a character. Uncle Scrooge was a comic book character for many years before this, but it was his first time in animation with that wonderful Scottish voice. And so Mickey's Christmas Carol, it's got a warm place in our hearts. Number 8, our next version of A Christmas Carol is Scrooged with Bill Murray. How can you go wrong with this?
I don't think I've seen this.
You haven't seen this? You should see this. It's a very funny movie. It's got one of the best transformations at the end, when Bill Murray's version of Scrooge has his awakening. Bill Murray just plays it so joyously. It's very fun. It's a very silly movie. It's a little uneven, but I do like this one a lot. Number 7, I put Elf with Will Ferrell. It's a new classic. At this point, it's pretty old. It's 15 years old, which makes me feel old. But it's one of the only movies from the 2000s that is about Christmas that is actually fairly good. And so I like Elf. Everyone likes Elf. I like that this is one of the few things from the last 20 years of cinema that's just non-controversial. People like Elf. That's nice.
Yeah. It's a decent movie.
Number 6, I put Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know if this is a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie, but it's got the word Christmas in the title. That's one of the 2 times of year it makes sense to watch it. And I was kind of trying to weigh this because, as a Christmas movie, I probably don't like it as much as these other movies. But as a movie, I like it more than some of these movies, so I put it smack in the middle of the list.
I think that's fair. I think I'm with you that, for me, people have their arguments about is it a Halloween movie, is it a Christmas movie, and I say, why not both?
Yeah. I think it's probably more of a Halloween movie, if you have it on the scales, but it's, the big song sequences in Christmas Town.
Yeah.
Santa's in it.
I just don't think that Halloween movie and Christmas movie is mutually exclusive. See
Exactly.
any number of different low-budget, terrible slasher movies that feature an evil Santa that murders people. That's a fucking Christmas movie and a Halloween movie. Come on.
There you go. All right. Number 5, I've got Miracle on 34th Street, the original, with that wonderful Santa played by, I think his name is Ed Gwynn. It's just a great Santa Claus. It's a great old black and white movie. So it's a very fun little movie, and I've always loved that one. You get Natalie Wood in there as the kid. It's a good movie. Number 4, I put the Doctor Who Christmas Carol. This is actually, we have 5 Christmas carols on this list. So number 4 is the Doctor Who Christmas Carol. This is Stephen Moffat's first Christmas special with Matt Smith, and you have Michael Gambon in there. And it is just one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes. Definitely the best Doctor Who Christmas special, I think. That or maybe one of the later ones with Peter Capaldi. Those are pretty good too. But this one is so good. It's a great version of A Christmas Carol. You get Matt Smith coming down the chimney and doing lots of silly stuff. It's got the great conversation about what do men do? We say, "Mommy," what is that whole joke? I ruined the joke.
You put me on the spot with that one because I know exactly the joke.
Yeah.
What do men do in the face of danger? Say mommy.
Yes, that's the joke. Okay.
At least paraphrasing it.
It's funnier when Matt Smith does it.
Yes.
Not when we do it. Again, this is a very impromptu best of list. All right. Number 3 is A Christmas Carol from 1984. This is the one with George C. Scott. I think it was a TV movie, but it's really cool. George C. Scott, wonderful Ebenezer Scrooge. This is the best, straight up Christmas Carol adaptation I've seen. It is the Dickens book. It's very good. It's very faithful. It's got all the language in there. And then it's also got George C. Scott being one of the best Ebenezer Scrooges. Just a very, very good, faithful version of that film. Number 2 is It's a Wonderful Life, which, here's the other hipster thing I don't like, is people being like, hey, only the end of It's a Wonderful Life happens on Christmas. The rest of it is about a guy. What the fuck does it matter? It's watched every year at Christmas for a reason. It's something resonates there. I agree, it can be watched at other times of the year and studied. It's one of the great American movies. It's one of the great Jimmy Stewart performances. But the climax of the movie where this guy redeems his life is standing around a Christmas tree with all his friends and family. What the hell is wrong with you that you're Die Hard's a Christmas movie because more of it takes place at Christmas than It's a Wonderful Life because it's only last. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I've never encountered those people in real life at the very least, so it doesn't bother me as much as the Die Hard thing does, but It's a Wonderful Life is not only is it a Christmas movie, it's the Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's the epitome of Christmas movies.
It's a great movie. Okay, number 1 is The Muppet Christmas Carol, which is my favorite version of A Christmas Carol and my favorite Christmas movie. It's just a great film. It's a great Muppet movie. You've got Michael Caine in there as Scrooge. And I feel like this movie has been getting a reevaluation over the last couple years as people who maybe grew up with it now have Twitter and stuff and are pointing out Michael Caine is giving this 100%. He's in a silly movie with Muppets and he's doing one of the most serious, devoted Ebenezer Scrooge performances. It's really an amazing film. It's a great musical. It's got great music. Disney has sadly never released in proper widescreen the complete version of the film with the sad song in the middle, and one day I hope they will do that, but for now I've got my version I've cobbled together with the entire movie in there, and it's a good film. And Muppet Christmas Carol, it's the one I try to make time for every year because I do love it.
Cool.
All right, now let's shit on some movies, Sean.
Okay.
All right, these are my bottom 5. Again, with all of this, if I had more than 10 minutes to think about it, I could probably make better lists, but I still think this is pretty good. So, least worst to most worst. Number 5, Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas.
I've never seen that.
It's the direct-to-video sequel to Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, I remember being okay. It's hand-animated. It had some fun little stories in there. There was a version of Gift of the Magi with Mickey and Minnie. It was totally fine. Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I've actually seen it.
Okay.
But it came out in the year 2001 when I was a kid, and it would have been on VHS, and I remember being disappointed in this movie, whether it was because I actually watched it and it was terrible, or because I saw the cover art or something, and in this one, Mickey and all his friends were in CGI, bad early 2000s CG, which in Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, it was just normal hand animation. Mickey should not be in CGI. That's fucked up. Unless it's a video game, you can get away with it. But no one wants to see that. It was bad. I don't really remember it, but I'm guessing that if I did actually watch it, it would probably be on this list. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
It's a bold choice to put a movie that you don't know if you've seen, but your reasoning is convincing to me.
Yeah. Number 4 is The Grinch. Either of the theatrical versions. The animated short is great.
Yes.
We all love that one. The movies. Now, one of these I have not seen, but I know it's bad. The new one with Benedict Cumberbatch. You see the trailer, you know that's a terrible fucking movie. It's Illumination Entertainment. They are chemically incapable of making things that are vaguely interesting. So, like, it's awful. But I have seen the Jim Carrey one. That's a really bad movie. The Jim Carrey one also, almost, though, it has been so shit on over the years, I kind of feel bad for it.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely bad. I don't know if it's as bad as its reputation is. Like, it's not good enough that I want to actively defend it. But, Jim Carrey gave it his all.
And the thing I appreciate about that movie is that it is very weird. Like,
it's very weird.
It's not like what I imagine the new Grinch movie is and looks like from the trailers. That it's just the blandest, most stock fucking animated movie ever made. Like that Jim Carrey Grinch movie, not great, but it went for something strange, and I will always appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it earned its spot on this list out of ambition.
Yes, there you go.
Whereas the other Grinch earned its spot on the list out of laziness.
Exactly.
Yes. All right, number 3 is the Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause.
Never seen this.
Yeah, I remember. So the Santa Claus movies, if you don't know, because they're...
Because I don't.
Okay, these are the ones with Tim Allen, where he plays the guy who kills Santa accidentally.
Oh, okay,
And then he becomes Santa. The original Santa Claus is okay. It's a decent little movie. It's a, 90s Disney film. Creative idea. It's fine.
This is... The clause is a pun because it's like the clause in like a legal document. That's right.
It's clause with an E at the end.
Yes. When you say it, I don't recognize it. When I read it, oh, that's the dumb Tim Allen one. Yes.
Yeah. And these are the movies where he also, his lead elf is extremely Jewish, which has always been just a slightly odd... not that there can't be I don't know. Can there be a Jewish Christmas elf? This gets into some weird religious space.
I don't think that's for us to decide, Jonathan.
Okay. Maybe he's more culturally Jewish. I don't know. But anyway, that was always a thing in those movies that I realized when I got older is that's like they really coded this character very Jewish in Santa's workshop. So you have that. Those movies, the first one's fine. The second one is lazy, but whatever. The third one, all I remember is being dragged to this by my family when it came out in 2006 or whatever. And it is the most boring fucking piece of shit. It has stuck with me out of sheer boredom, which a lot of movies don't. This is a movie that, the end of it is an It's a Wonderful Life thing where there's a character who's supposed to be Jack Frost, played by Martin Short, who I normally love, but he's annoying as shit in this movie, who, erases the Tim Allen character from existence, and, he sees his family if he wasn't there. Interesting idea for the movie, except this is an 80-minute movie, and that's the last 20 minutes, and the first hour is just random antics at the workshop. It feels like the most direct-to-video made-for-TV thing ever. It's like a Disney Channel movie that escapes to theaters. And, I will never forgive it. It was, not that its potential was high, but it was bad.
I will take your word for it, and I will avoid Santa Claus 3.
Yeah. Number 2. I just wrote all the shitty Christmas movies I had to go review over the years for various publications, like Christmas with the Cranks, also with Tim Allen, or Surviving Christmas, the movie with Ben Affleck and James Gandolfini, where he pretends he's James Gandolfini's son, I think. He's rich, and he pays them to be in their family, and then their daughter comes home, and she's played by, Christina Applegate, I think. I hate that I remember all this. And then they kind of fall in love, even though he's an asshole. It's a weird movie. It was a bad movie. I had to review that one. Or Four Christmases. That's the one with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. Another one. I'm honestly not sure if I actually saw it, but fuck it, I know it's bad. Or another one I had to review, Fred Claus. That's with Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti. That one's actually okay.
That one is because I actually very recently looked up the scene from Fred Claus. There's one scene in that movie where Paul Giamatti's Santa Claus and then Kevin Spacey, Kevin Spacey's side.
The before times.
Yes, the before times, where Kevin Spacey is the villain, and Paul Giamatti confronts him and has this whole speech about the Superman cape that he would have, that the Kevin Spacey character wanted as a kid, but Santa Claus didn't give it to him because he was on the naughty list. And it's, people should look up the scene. It sucks because it's not on YouTube anymore, because I just had this weird fancy of remembering it, 3 weeks ago, and wanting to find it, and not being on YouTube anymore, and then having to, I think I went on Daily Motion or some fucking place and found it. People should look up that scene. It is so good in a movie that you should not watch.
The movie is it's not horrible. It's a 3 out of 5 movie.
Yeah, but if the words Paul Giamatti plays Santa Claus makes you interested, just watch that scene and you'll get everything you want from that.
That's what I want, I want the Fred Claus spin-off that's just about the one we care about Paul Giamatti as Santa. I think you could do a very good movie out of that. But I think it belongs on this list of we've kind of stopped making these, I feel like, but you would get these just very warmed over bad Christmas movies every year.
Yeah,
and like
these,
that's why Elf was so cool when it came out. That was Jon Favreau and Will Ferrell doing something new and cool.
Yeah, it was just... Yeah, I agree. It doesn't seem like they really come out that much anymore, but you just had these like really vapid comedies that would come out every fucking year that would star a Tim Allen.
Yeah.
And it was just like, why do these movies even exist?
Other fun fact about the movie Surviving Christmas is that movie flopped really hard, in part because they put it out in like October, so they were too early with it, and it flopped so hard that like this would not be weird now, but back then it took longer for movies to come out on DVD and tape. You know, like this would have also been on tape. That movie was in theaters in October, bombed hard enough that it was on DVD by December. Which, like, again, today that's not crazy, but back in like 2003, that was nuts. So anyway, I just remember that. And James Gandolfini, you know, he had better things going on with the Sopranos, so it did not ruin his career or anything. But yeah. And Ben Affleck, that's probably one of the reasons people hate him. All right. And then my number one worst Christmas movie. I forgot this movie even took place on Christmas until the Wikipedia list I was looking at told me it did. This is Meet Me in St. Louis. It's a musical I hate. This is the one. You haven't heard of this? Okay. This is a beloved...
You probably told me about this when you were taking that musical class.
Yeah, this is a sacred cow that I'm taking aim at here. Because this is a something Minnelli movie.
Okay.
Vincenzo Minnelli? I don't know.
I don't know. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking degree in that shit.
So it's the Mr. Minnelli movie. He was one of the main directors of musicals at MGM. I fucking hate his whole style. It's bad. Meet Me in St. Louis is the one where Judy Garland, who later married Mr. Minnelli, that's why Liza Minnelli, her daughter is named Liza Minnelli.
Okay.
Anyway.
Interesting.
But yes, she was his, because he was gay, and she was his like sham beard marriage for like 2 years, and they had the daughter, and then she got out of that one. But anyway, this is a Judy Garland musical, a couple years after Wizard of Oz. It's about a family in St. Louis who are affluent and obnoxious, and they might have to move to a different affluent house in a different affluent city because their father got a different affluent job. And all these affluent white people are so sad about having to leave fucking St. Louis. And the end of the movie is their last Christmas together in their house. But of course it's not, because the father actually gets to stay at the end. But anyway, this is where the song Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is from. It's from this movie.
Right.
And Judy Garland sings it. That's probably the best scene in the movie, because Judy Garland is... If you cut out all the other stuff and just put a camera on her, she's an amazing singer and performer. But I hate everything else in this movie so much. There's an annoying little kid who they do songs with, and fucking annoying as hell. All these people are just... Like, it is a movie of rich people whining about having things. You know? Like, oh, we might have all this privilege somewhere else. It's not like the father lost his job and they're moving to a trailer park. Like, It's such a vapid movie. The musical numbers are so bad. It is the gaudiest Technicolor. I hate looking at it. And it counts as a Christmas movie. One of the most famous Christmas songs is from this movie. So I say, it's the worst. Fuck it. I don't want to watch it. I'd watch Christmas with the Cranks again before I'd watch this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will not try to make you watch, what is it called?
Meet Me in St. Louis.
Yeah.
It's bad. The lyrics to the song Meet Me in St. Louis are so awful. I just hate it. I hate the whole thing. So there you go. So I hope that answers your question. Those are my favorite and least favorite Christmas movies. This was probably too elaborate, but there you go.
Well, while you were delivering all of that, I thought of a couple of things. One,
Okay.
Doctor Who Christmas Carol. Yes, I agree with that choice. The Grinch animated special. Love that. This is my third one. This is one nobody knows about over here probably, and it's not technically a Christmas movie, is not set during Christmas, and is in a culture where Christmas is nowhere near as important as it is to us, but it's a Japanese anime movie called The Disappearance of Suzumiya Haruhi. That is a 2-hour animated film that is at the end of a 2-season long anime show. That is an adaptation of like a 10 novel long light novel series. So you can't, with me saying that this is a really good movie, doesn't mean that people can go watch the movie, because it will be absolute nonsense if you didn't watch the TV show first. The TV show is very good. They should watch it. But it's a really good movie that is set during winter, and the snow and winter and like the malaise of winter plays a huge part in the role of the film. And the film is all about the main character, Kyon, who's a very sort of like cynical high school like teenage boy that just like kind of has no, he can't bring himself to have joy in his life because he's too like disaffected by everything, and he finally has to, at the end of the movie, confront his own bullshit and decide, no, like I should try. Like I should try to have fun. It's like I should try to get out there. And it has, again, it's not set during Christmas. I don't think the word Christmas ever comes up, but it has a very Christmas kind of moral to it. And it's just a beautiful film. So if you ever want to watch that show, you should also watch that movie because it's very
well, good. In the spirit of a Japanese Christmas, you could get that movie and a bucket of KFC and watch it on Christmas Eve. And also get some Christmas cake and your girlfriend over and do that.
Yes, yeah. And then they might, like, knit you a muffler or whatever Chie does in Persona 4. Yeah.
Her fluffy muffler.
Yes, that's what it was.
Fluffy muffler. Yeah, the KFC joke, by the way, that is an actual... People always think I'm joking when I tell them this, because it's one of the weirder cultural traditions. But yes, KFC, our Kentucky Fried Chicken on Christmas in Japan is very big, and no one can adequately explain to me why.
Well, I mean, the KFC is a very large company with a lot of money and power, and Christmas was a holiday and an event that had no foothold in Japan yet. And so while like the interest in American culture in Japan made them more interested in Christmas, KFC, whoever fucking ran that campaign, goddamn genius. They saw an opening there, like, we're going to market the shit out of this and make people associate Christmas and KFC. And so now it's just associated. It is like a tradition for some families in Japan.
It is genuinely probably the smartest thing any American fast food chain has ever done anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Because KFC will be bankrupt and dead in America, and it will still be a vital part of the Japanese economy in like 2030.
I mean, just imagine it this way. Imagine if you had full consumerist capitalist version of America come into being without having had the religious and cultural tradition that preceded it. That's basically what happened in Japan. And so when you look at it that way, it makes perfect sense to me.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is an amazing thing. Okay, let's go ahead and move on, Sean. My next section on the outline is just games and stuff. So getting away from the Christmas theme for a little bit, unless we've been playing a Christmas game that we didn't tell each other about. We have games that we can talk about. Like, we've just played some Smash Bros, so I'm interested to hear if you have any thoughts on that. But, I've been playing more of the Persona dancing games because people have been asking about that. So I've been mainlining more of the English version of Persona 3, Dancing All Night, or Dancing Moon Night. And I'm enjoying that. But have you played any new games since last time?
New games? No.
Okay.
No. And I had an opportunity for this podcast to play the Christmas-themed level in Hitman 2, but it's just the Christmas-themed level from Hitman 1, so I did not do that again yet.
And you have talked about that on the show in the past.
Yes.
So.
Go back probably 2 years, and you can listen to me talking about how I unlocked Santa 47.
Is the new elusive target out in Hitman 2 yet?
It came out today.
Ooh,
yes,
God.
I have not looked at it yet.
Doing that when I get home. Mm-hmm. That'll be a story for next week.
Exactly.
Anyway, I have played a few new games, Sean, for my year-end catch-up. One of them I'm not quite done yet, and I'm going to wait on. But I'm going to talk a little bit about Return of the Obra Dinn.
Okay.
Is that okay? Or are you going to play that?
I am going to play that, yes.
Okay. I might hold off on it until next week because it'll be somewhere. I don't know if it'll be on the list, honorable mentions, but we'll probably talk about it. I'll just say Return of the Obra Dinn, if you haven't played it, it's the new game by Lucas Pope, who made Papers, Please. I've been very excited to play it because I'm a huge Papers, Please fan. It's on PC and Mac right now. It's a really interesting game. I'm not loving it to the degree other critics are, and it's probably not going to be on like my main top 10 list. I find it a little colder and more sterile than I tend to with games I love. But it is like, I guess I'm not going to get into it, I think, because you're still going to play it, and I kind of want to have the conversation, and I'm curious to see your thoughts on it. It's a really interesting cerebral exercise. It's got an amazing visual style. It's definitely singular, and I've not quite seen anything like it. I don't feel the same maybe hook to it that I did with like a Papers, Please or something. Not that it's completely fair to compare it to the developer's only other game.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth your attention. Like if you're seeing that out there, I would say it's definitely worth a look because it is. There's nothing I could compare it to. It's so different and weird. But that is the one new game I've been playing, and I've got another one, but I'm just trying to catch up on like the last couple on my list that. Like, I'm not going to get to Assassin's Creed Odyssey because I would not be able to do that in a week, but games that are smaller that I can do in a couple of days, I've been doing a couple of those, and that's one of those. But let's go ahead and talk about games we have been playing, Sean.
Okay.
Let's start with Super Smash Brothers.
Yes.
Because you and I just played it together. I've been still playing a ton of that. I have all the characters unlocked now. I am about 10 hours into World of Light, and I've put in probably 40 hours into the game itself, because now I'm at home and my brother and I are playing it a lot. We've been doing a lot of online co-op, which is really fun, where you just form a team on your local Switch console and you fight someone else who has 2 people on their console. And we've been trying to strategize, and we actually got pretty good. Our team that we're using now is Chrom and Link. And we do that because they're both sword fighters, so they can do a lot of damage, but Link can do a lot of ranged stuff.
Yeah.
So if Link is far away, he can do ranged, whereas Chrom is really powerful close up, and it's been working for us pretty well. We beat a lot of people with that. Our team of Pichu and Isabelle went down in flames and just did not work, because those are great maybe characters to use on your own Switch, but when you go online and you don't quite know what you're doing, you get your ass kicked. So anyway, I'm enjoying that. I'm still loving World of Light. One thing I never talked about with World of Light that I love that they do is that on the overworld, the map you go across, it's got a lot of themed areas, and they always match. This is how crazy the amount of stuff in Smash Bros. is that they can make a cool temple area in World of Light on the overworld. And then every time you do a fight, they have so many maps that involve temples or parts of maps, because some maps travel or something, and they'll have you just play on the part, they'll have it stop on the part with the temple, and you'll be playing on a temple, and it feels like you're going through a world that if you didn't know where all these maps were from, you would think, oh, they just made this so that it looks like the overworld. Kind of like in Fire Emblem, you're on an overworld and it zooms in and it's oh, now I'm in a grassy, patch or something, because that's what it looked like on the topography. And that's so cool. I was doing one the other day where it brings you to a big race track, and this is where you unlock Captain Falcon. And it's got all the F-Zero tracks and the Mario Kart tracks, and you're doing a big race-themed area. I think World of Light is really neat, and I'm enjoying that, and I hope to put in more time to it, especially once I wrap up my top 10 list and I can just kind of play whatever I want. But yeah, I'm loving it. But Sean, we just got to play. We played a bunch of matches together. Yep. We fought. We teamed up, took up some computer players.
We did one utterly insane match, which was us as a team versus 3 other teams of 2 CPUs for 8 players total on the Sonic the Hedgehog maps, which are not very big.
No,
it was utter insanity. We lost.
We lost. It was utter insanity. Yeah, we beat the computers the other times we did it.
Yeah,
but no, it was insanity. So you got to play a bunch of the new characters. You have not played Smash since Brawl.
Yes. Well, I played a couple of rounds of 4 intermittently with other people, because I never had a Wii U, so that was the only way, or a 3DS. So that's the only way I played it. But yes, basically the last time I played it was Brawl, but the last time I seriously played it was Melee a very long time ago.
Yes. Well, how did it feel to you?
It is still Super Smash Brothers.
Yes.
The first thing I did was we played, and I picked Link, and we were on, you picked the Hyrule Castle level from the original Smash Brothers that has the little tornado that pops up and all that kind of stuff. And I kicked your ass, and it felt great. I was I can still do it as Link. They changed up some of his B moves, but his A moves all basically work the same way they did before. So his side smash still does the 2 slashes. He can still do the Zelda 2 down A thing where he kind of pogo sticks you with the sword. And so that felt good. I was yeah, I can still do Link, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Other than that, yeah, it is it is impressive to me how much it does retain the feel of that original game, and then particularly Melee, that obviously added changed the most, it feels because it's hard, because that's the one that added the side B move and stuff like that changed up some core stuff. And so yeah, if you ever played Smash Brothers Melee and had any affinity for that game, you can just pick up Smash Brothers Ultimate and go into it immediately, which is something that is not necessarily as easy as if you played a lot of Street Fighter 2 and then you just pick up Street Fighter 5. There's more of a learning curve there.
Yeah, and actually, I think it works better for that than Brawl or Smash 4 did, which both are a little further from Melee. This one is a little it's faster, it's tighter, it feels like it has the same kind of overall polish and sheen to it that Melee did. Much more so than that, obviously, because it's many years later and they've differentiated the characters a little more. But yeah, it was fun to, I've really only played it competitively versus online people and my brother, so it was fun to play with you and play with someone new. And yeah, we played a bunch of the different characters and stages, and we did the stage morph thing, which is crazy. We both got killed by the stage morph a couple times, because that happens.
Yeah, the stage morph is weird because it's not like a smooth transition. It's the stage glows white and evaporates, and the new stage comes in, and it's very easy for, depending on which stage you're on, for that to just kill you immediately. So the one that I was really shocked by was when we transitioned into the new stage from Street Fighter 2, which has it's like a big, large platform on the right, a gap in the middle, and then a smaller wooden platform on the left. But in the background, there's like a whole mountain kind of area that you can see. And so when the stage was morphing, it looked like, oh, there's a whole big mountain back there. I'm sure I'll just be able to land. It's like, it just kind of looked like there's going to be something there. And it's like, oh no, there's a giant gap, and I just sank right through. So it's definitely that's one of those things where, like, if you are playing very seriously and competitively, you probably would not want to do the stage morph because it's extremely confusing. Because still true of Smash Brothers. That is like the thing it's always been like is it is really fun and exciting as a more competitive fighting-esque type of game. Obviously, it's not the same kind of fighting game as a Street Fighter or Dragon Ball FighterZ or something, but it evokes something like that, of like the one-to-one, like head-on competition kind of stuff. And that can still be a ton of fun. And then also, if you, with all the items, it can just be utter chaos and complete horseshit. And that was the experience of it, like, not in a bad way necessarily, because it is like very entertaining, but just seeing like, okay, Pokemon, like the thing I was maybe most surprised by is the new Pokemon stay on the map for like 30 seconds. Like, old Pokemon, you'd throw them out and they'd be there for like Snorlax would do his thing, Chansey would shoot out some eggs, it's like they do like one attack, maybe they do the attack a couple of times, and it would be, if a Pokemon stayed for a while, like Charizard or I think like Starmie, they kind of hung around for a little bit longer, that felt special. Every new Pokemon that, like, was, by new Pokemon I defined Pokemon that I didn't recognize, they just stayed on the map forever. It's like, did you just get another partner? It's just like, did a third person just drop into this game? Because this fucking dog thing with a fucking light horn is just sticking around.
Yes, and the assist trophies are even more extreme in that regard.
Okay, yeah, because the mode we played, you had turned the assist trophies off, so I didn't see those.
Yeah, but of course the great thing about Smash Bros. And Ultimate is really accommodating to this is, like, play it however the hell you want.
Yeah.
It's got a really nice, like, the first thing you see when you go into a match is it has your pre-made rule sets, and you can make as many as you want. You can custom title them. It's like Halo 3 or something, where you just go in and just adjust whatever the hell you want and make it your Smash, and it's there. And when you go online, you can use preferred rules, which isn't perfect, but it will get you... There's no perfect way to do that, I don't think, with all the different rule sets, and I think it's a nice, like, mid-ground solution. So, it works, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I also have to say, I've talked about how good this game looks, but you have a much nicer TV than I do, because you have, like, what is that, 50 inches?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big TV. I do not. My TV's like 40 inches, and yours is also 4K. And Smash looked real good blown up to that size and resolution, and like it's so colorful.
Yeah, a lot of the stages in particular really popped. Like that, the Street Fighter 2 stage. Even if I was very annoyed by that stage morph thing, once we were actually in there, it's like, oh, this fucking looks awesome. Like it's a really, because it looks like the stage from Street Fighter 2, but it's beautiful in HD and all that.
Well, and like all the old stages from like Melee that they've brought back. I talked about this last time, that they've really done a number on them in terms of upgrading the textures.
Yeah, because we played on a lot of older stages. Like I said, the first one we did was the Link's Castle from, or Zelda's Castle from the first game, and they do not look like they were just ported over. Like they look as good as the other maps.
Yeah, I mean, if you're new to Smash Brothers, I don't know if you'd have any way of telling what's a new map or an old map. The only one where they've kind of kept it looking low res is the N64 stages, because I think you kind of want them to have that sheen.
Yeah, and there's only they are very plain because they were plain back then, and you couldn't change. If you changed that up, it would change the map itself.
It would, exactly. So that's really cool. They're just so fun to play on. And it was kind of funny because I realized, like, Sean, you were doing some of the new characters, and I realized, well, wait, but for Sean, if you kind of skipped over Smash 4, there's a lot of new characters to you.
Yeah, and especially like with the DLC characters, which I had never played as any of those.
Yeah, so like you got to play as Cloud and Ryu and things like that, and then there's all the stages that were added. And that's the thing, is that Smash Ultimate might not have as many new characters or stages as some of the other Smash Bros. Games have, but you got to remember that I think a lot of people buying this game missed the last one.
Yeah.
Because literally, if you look at the sales numbers, Nintendo has been putting out sales numbers. In the first 3 days, worldwide, Smash Ultimate sold 5 million copies.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. That is also as much as the Wii U game sold lifetime, which means we're 2 weeks in now. The game has easily sold more than Wii U. It's going to outsell 3DS. It's going to outsell every other Smash Bros. Game, which means there's a lot of people who are brand new to this one. And, like, what a feature-rich game, especially if you're kind of new to it, you know?
I will say, though, as a slight counterpoint for that, this obviously is, like, personal to me, but a lot of those characters are Fire Emblem characters that I didn't give a fuck about. So like when I was looking for like new characters to play, I was like, oh, there's going to be so many, and I was like, well, a lot of this, that's a lot of Fire Emblem characters.
There's only 7 Fire Emblem characters. There are more Pokemon than there are Fire Emblem characters.
Okay, yeah, because that was the other thing is like Pokemon that I don't know. That like if I owned the game, I would obviously play them and be like, oh, this is cool. But when I just have like a little bit of time, well, I'll jump in there as Richter because Rondo Blood is fucking awesome.
It is. There are 2 kinds of Smash Bros. Fans: the ones who are baffled by the Fire Emblem characters, and the ones who fucking love the Fire Emblem characters. I get the bafflement, because it has become a much bigger Nintendo series, but it is not Mario or Pokemon yet, right?
And the Fire Emblem characters, or the Fire Emblem games that I played are not represented by the characters that you can play as.
Yes, but as someone who has played most of the North American Fire Emblem games and really fucking loves them, I love those characters. They are genuinely like a different class of characters than a lot of the other ones in the game in terms of like their sword play is very different than Link's sword play, which is different than Cloud's, which is different than Shulk's. I really love all the Fire Emblem characters, but I do get it because, like, I remember when Melee came out and none of us knew who Martha Roy was, and it was cool. And if it weren't for Melee, we wouldn't have Fire Emblem over here, and the series might be dead over across the world. So thank God for Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But it's cool for me to have them there. But I do get the sentiment.
Yeah, it's the thing of where it just depends on who you are and like where your background is, and like so it's like a lot of the characters that are new are not ones that like I have a particular affinity for.
Yeah.
But like I will say the one that I did is Simon/Richter, and I played Richter because Rondo Blood is fucking amazing. People, if you have not played Rondo Blood, you should play Rondo Blood.
I got the version for PS4. It's really cool.
That game, and the fucking music in that game is incredible. And Richter is a really cool character. Of the new characters that I had never played before, that was the one I had the most fun with. He's very Link-esque in terms of his sort of move set of that he's got a lot of good melee stuff, but then all of his B moves are more ranged. So he has like I was a little bit disappointed that the Holy White Water doesn't do like the wave and like kind of go forward. It's like because that has, depending on which Castlevania game you play, and I don't remember which one Rondo Blood was. It's a little fire that stays in place, which is what is in Smash Brothers, or it goes forward. But he has like the glaive, and he has the axe and all that, and the glaive is basically just Link's boomerang because that's what it is in Castlevania. And so, that I was very pleased that I could just pick up Richter and be like, okay, I can play this dude. Compared to when I played as like Mega Man or the Splatoon Inkling, I had no idea what the fuck. Like I was, particularly the Inkling, which it makes sense that that's a very like weird specialty character. There's like all the like how the ink system worked for that character was not intuitive to me.
Yeah, some of them you have to get to know. Like Mega Man, I've gotten to know more, and it's very rewarding to me. But yeah, I've realized too as I've been playing this one, especially since Smash 4 came out, I don't just know, but I love most of the franchises represented in Smash Bros. These days. Like, probably more than the average player, because, like, I play actively all of the Mario games, and all of the Zelda games, and all the Fire Emblems, and all of the Metroids, and, like, the only series in there that I really don't know well is, like, Earthbound.
Right. And there's a good reason for that, because most of those games did not come over here.
Yeah, I don't know Earthbound well. I don't know... God, I don't even know what the other ones would be. Like I've never played a lot of Street Fighter, but I know Street Fighter, so it's like I don't know if it even really matters. Like Mega Man, I'm not super into the Mega Man games, but I don't know how you can be into video gaming and not think Mega Man is cool, you know? So, which I think is one of the ways they've done good franchise extension in Smash Brothers is they tend to pick characters like, I'm not huge into Castlevania, but I know who Simon and Richter are, and I think they're awesome. You don't have to have played all of those games to know that. But anyway, so that's some more Smash Brothers talk. What else do we want to talk about, Sean? Do you want to talk about any more Hitman 2 adventures?
I have level 20 mastery everything in Hitman 2. I've done a bunch of Silent Assassin suit only kind of stuff, and those are fun. I did one on Columbia that I think, without like deliberately trying to do it the same way that you did it, I think I did it almost the exact same way that you did it when you told that story on the podcast.
Ooh, does this mean I can now tell my story of how I got Silent Assassin suit only in the Suburban one?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Because this is the one where I did it. What's that map called?
It's Whittleton Creek, I think.
Whittleton Creek, yeah. So Whittleton Creek is the one in the suburbs. It's one of the most unique Hitman maps in a lot of ways.
It's great. And I love that because you say it's set in the American suburbs, but it's like I keep on wanting to say it's set in the American suburbs in the 1950s, even though it's not. Like, it's totally set contemporary times the way that, because obviously Hitman, he doesn't fucking time travel, but they just said, fuck it, like you're just in the neighborhood from like Leave It to Beaver or something, you know? It's like so of that period, and
Sean,
it's so great.
Sean, now I want a Hitman game where he time travels.
Yeah, well...
my God.
Maybe that'll be Season 3. That's like the Hitman Assassin's Creed crossover where
Can you imagine if, like, Diana's like, number 47, or Agent 47, we have a time machine now. And, like, he starts like he's in a fucking, like, feudal castle and has to go around like that, and it's like the Time Warrior in Doctor Who. That'd be great. Oh, my God, I want this now.
It's like, that is Julius Caesar.
Yes.
First emperor, no, he wasn't the first emperor of Rome. It's like destroyer of the Republic of Rome, conqueror of Gaul.
You have to do it in such a way that it looks like someone else stabbed Julius Caesar.
Yeah, I mean that would be one of the mission stories. Is like you persuade Cassius and Brutus and the other guys to go and assassinate Caesar, and you go out to stab. It's like at 247.
I hope someone from IO Interactive is listening to this.
You know, if Hitman goes on long enough, eventually that's where they'll run out of modern locations, and it's like you'll have to go to ancient Rome and shit. Yeah.
And then you've got to have one in space where he's on like the fucking International Space Station. They've got to do that at some point.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised that they have not done that. I thought that maybe that will, because that seems like it would be hard to do a full mission like that, but that would be a good, like, here's your like tutorial for the next one, like the beach mission on Hitman 2. You're on the International Space Station and everything. There's no gravity, and that'd be awesome.
Okay, anyway, so Whittleton Creek. So this is a unique map because it's got a lot of little buildings, which are the houses, that are their own kind of contained spaces. You know,
yeah, it's basically like a block in a neighborhood. Like it's like it's like a 3x3 grid of like houses,
and each of those houses has their own kind of patterns to recognize and things to do, but you have two people you need to kill, the old man and the security guy.
Yeah.
So I start with the security guy, and I get into his house. I get into the garage, which is pretty easy to do, suit only. You just kind of distract people enough, and you get into the garage and close the garage.
Yeah.
And what I realize is that no one opens the garage. No one opens the garage and goes in there, and no one will come into the garage unless you make them come into the garage. So the first thing I did was, so I realized that into the main kitchen area, the guard guy will come in every so often on his route, and he'll check in on things, right? But it's swarming with guards. I could never go in there suit only. But I could turn on the little generator and just start drawing people in there. And so I drew someone in there, choked him out, put his body in the freezer, drew another guy in there, choked him out, drew his body in the freezer. It was just a pile of weapons on the floor at this point. But now I'm out of spaces to hold the bodies. But I'm like, I don't think anyone's coming in here. So I got every guard in that house into that fucking thing. Or I would, once I had enough people out, I could kind of go in and sneak around and then just drag their bodies out. And I just had, that garage was just strewn with unconscious bodies. And then finally, all that's left is the guy I needed to kill. And I just went up to him, slit his throat, brought him into the garage, and I left his body on the stairs. And that was it. And then I left and like, somehow that worked.
Nice.
Now, I'm describing it sounds easy. It took quite a bit of like maneuvering and experimenting to get this to work just right. The next one was even harder because the old guy is more heavily fortified. He has a similar pattern, but there are more people there, and you have to be a little more careful. But what I wound up doing is I got enough people out into the garage and just their bodies strewn there, right? Because it's the same kind of thing. The garage, kitchen pattern is the same.
I mean, that's the thing about that neighborhood is that it's a suburban neighborhood, and so most of the houses are designed with basically the same layout, which I like, but like the content of the rooms is different, but the general frame is the same.
So the old guy with Janice, I remember his name because he's important to the very bad story of Hitman 2. But anyway, Janice will come in, and he has enough guards and stuff who will not come to the garage that I couldn't just do it the same way. But there's a thing there, his like little tea maker, and you can make him a glass of tea, poison it with one of the poison frogs you get in the grass, because you don't have to look too far for poison in that level because there's poison frogs. That I would get enough of the guards out, run into the room very quickly, make him his tea, put the poison frog in it, go back around, because what I needed to do was poison him in such a way that no one was going to see him die. But then I could grab him, get him out into the garage, and then just leave the neighborhood. And it worked, and I got it. But I love that I was able to do that by just getting just probably 20 guards at some point into these two garages. And eventually they're all going to wake up, see their dead boss lying there, and be like, what the fuck happened to us? It's fun. I love that worked.
Yeah. That map is awesome. It's got... Because it's so different in that sense of like... It was one of my favorite first playthroughs of a map was on that one and on the last map where there's just like for that neighborhood there's just a sense of there's like it's like you have because any structure like any building you can go into in Hitman that the target is in is like a little level unto the larger level, right?
It's like a little clock with its own hands moving, and you have to learn
Yeah.
the patterns, and
And so, because the way that most Hitman maps are designed is you have 1, 2, 3 targets, however many targets, and each one is in a different location. That's usually they're in a building in that location, and that building is its whole own little Hitman level. That is almost like a closed system. Once you're in there, it's like the guards that are in here. This is like the stuff I need to take care of. And the thing that's cool about that map is that there's like 9 of those. 2 of them that have the target in them, but then there's a bunch of there's one that has I don't know if you did all the stuff with the lady that has the kill the murder room in her basement with the
No,
oven.
I didn't find
Oh,
this.
there's an evil lady in that fucking neighborhood that's friends with Janice.
man, I have to go home and do this.
Yeah, there's some fucked up shit in her house, and there's just a lot of little cool secrets, and it was just I had such a fun time going in and I'm just going to explore every single house before I do anything. Before I go get these targets, I'm going to go to all the other houses and just see what's there and just pick up fucking wrenches and go. And there's I've never quite figured out what his deal is, but there's one house that's having a barbecue party, and in the upstairs rooms of that house, there's a server who's who's supposed to serve the food at the party. And he just is shy or something. I don't know what his deal is, but he just isn't going down there. And every time you go into a room that he's in, he's like, "Oh, sorry, man, I'll just get out of your way." And then he goes to a different room, and you can just keep on following him, and he'll just keep on going to different rooms until you knock him out and take his clothes, and then serve, the bodyguard guy fucking poison hamburger or whatever, which is what I did.
Nice.
But yeah, that map's awesome. But I have fallen in love with the last level of this pack of Hitman Season 2, whatever you want to call it. That it's set for people who don't want this stuff spoiled, skip ahead. But I think the game's been out long enough. We can just talk about the last level is set on the Isle of Scale. It's like a very Celtic looking name, and it's basically this giant fucking castle that is housing this secret party of what is called the Ark Society.
It's an Eyes Wide Shut party without the sex.
Basically, yeah, because it is a masked party and all that stuff. And the thing that I love, one of the things I love about it is that it's a Hitman level that is filled with basically it feels like every single NPC in that level would be a target in another level of Hitman, because the Ark Society is a society of extremely rich, privileged, wealthy individuals. Who have formed together to form a secret group that is sort of Illuminati-esque in that it's a lot of people who own large energy conglomerates and that kind of stuff. And there's a whole subplot in that map about how that they have been funding anti-global warming stuff of anti the myth of global warming, right? So it's trying to make the society think that global warming isn't real, and that's where all their money is going, which is something that is actually real. I don't know if there's a secret society that goes to sex clubs that do that, but there are people that put all their money into funding that actual shit. And so it's all those kinds of people. And the whole setup is that they form together to try to come up with different ways to basically survive the apocalypse, because they know that the end of the human race is coming, whether from nuclear war or from global warming, or an asteroid or whatever. So they're all working on and funding different projects that are Elon Musk-esque, oh, we're going to go into space, and everyone thinks it's oh, it's going to be great. It's it's only going to be the rich assholes, and everybody else is going to die on Earth. And that's basically what the Ark Society is. This is just a bunch of fucking Elon Musks. And so there's something supremely satisfying as a Hitman to go into that map, and it is almost Colorado-esque from Hitman 1 of feeling I can kind of just kill anybody in this map and I don't feel bad about it. If I'm on Whittleton Creek, I'm not going to shoot the mailman. That guy's never done anything. He's just a nice, kindly mailman that lives in this weird 1950s American suburb. He seems totally cool. He might be racist, I don't know, but he seems fine. Everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody in that castle fucking deserves to get got. They deserve to get got as much as anybody does in Hitman. And so there's that element of the map I just love.
Have you done an all murder run through that map yet?
That was my first run on the map. I did the mission story, which has you because you have those 2 targets, the Washington sisters, one of whom you can kill by, she gives a whole speech in front of this big ceremonial thing that you set on fire. and she gets inside this big like ceremonial cage looking thing, and you set it on fire, and it's supposed to have a trap door in the back that she can just get out and escape, and it's this whole like symbolic thing about like burning the past or whatever the fuck it is. But of course you can sneak below and like fuck with the hydraulics so that the trap door never triggers, and so she just burns alive in there while all the people standing there are just clapping and going, woo, yeah, because they're like, yes, like the Ark Society, we're so amazing, and meanwhile like the head of the chairman of the Ark Society is fucking burning alive in there, and that's a great feeling, just walking up and setting her on fire. And then the second one though was the one where I got up to the penthouse, and in the penthouse there are 2 suits of knight armor. And if you're wearing the armor, like you can't duck and you can't sneak basically at all, but you have way more health while you're wearing it. And then there's a giant fucking like claymore in there, you know, like Braveheart style, just giant 2-handed sword. And I was like, you know what? At this point, I think Agent 47's kind of done with this bullshit. I'm not trying to get out of here sneaky, and I just grabbed that fucking sword and I went to town. And it was like an hour and a half, like with that to the time clock, because I just murdered so many people because I went, basically what I did is I went from the penthouse, which is at the very top of the back of the map, and went all the way down and went back out to, from the entrance point, like the boat that you come in on, I went off on again. So I went all the way through the map and then came back out wearing knight armor with a fucking sword and just murdered everybody, and it was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
I gotta do that. Yeah, that sounds good.
Because there is a challenge for killing, I think it's all the elite guards while wearing a suit of armor. So they totally they're which is like 25 characters. So like, they are encouraging, like that is a run through of that level that they want you to do, is to put on the knight armor and just murder people with a big sword.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's so amazing. All right, nice. Well, yeah, I was a little surprised. I told you this off the air, Sean. I had no idea there were only 5 maps in Hitman 2. So when I got to the end of Isle of Scail, and I skipped through the cutscene because they're awful and incomprehensible, and I really don't know what happened there. But then I was like, I'm so excited. I'm like, now I get to play that level from the Sniper Assassin mode, and I'm going to get to do the full level where you get to go into the big ball. Oh, this is just the Sniper Assassin mode. It's not the game's fault.
Yeah.
It didn't lie to me. I probably should have looked into it, but I thought there were 6 levels because there were in the last one, and there's only 5, and that's okay.
Well, there's 5 plus the tutorial map, which is like 5.5 or something.
Yeah. But they are very big and good levels, so it's okay.
Yeah, they're, other than Williston Creek, which is probably about the size of the Colorado map from Hitman Season 1, basically all the maps of this are bigger than the maps from Season 1.
Here is a question, though. And again, I want to be clear. This does not take away from my enjoyment of the game, because the game is the game, and it's a different thing. This is not a game where the story matters. Why are the cutscenes so monstrously bad in Hitman 2? Like, what happened?
They don't have as much of a budget as big as a team this time. I think that's what happened. Yeah, because they I think what they should have done is, if they couldn't do the full CG animated cutscenes, that because the Hitman 1 cutscenes, we talked about this when we talked about Hitman 1, the story is whatever. I like it for the vibe.
I like the story in the levels.
Yes, the writing in the levels is great, but the connective material between them is I don't care. I legitimately don't want it to be good, because I just want it to give cool spy movie vibe. That's all I need from it.
But it's worse in Hitman 2. It gets so convoluted, and it genuinely, even when because I was skipping them by the end, because they just, even when I watched them, they made no sense. It's not just a budget thing. It also feels like the writing just they crapped it out in an afternoon on a series of Post-it notes. Well,
because it's just more involved than the Hitman Season 1 writing. Because the story of Hitman Season 1 is, there is a secret guy who is secretly putting out these contracts, and it's not the person we thought it was. That is literally the entire story of Hitman Season 1. Yeah. That story does not develop from Paris to the end. The only thing that changes is that the characters find out that there's a secret guy that's Lucas, whatever his name, Lucas Gray, I think his name is,
who becomes a character in this one.
Yes, you know him from the end of the last cutscene that plays in the Paris map. Once you beat Paris, he is in that cutscene. It's just that Hitman and Diana don't know, or Agent 47 and Diana don't know that. By the end of it, they know that, that guy exists. And that's the entire story of Hitman Season 1. Hitman Season 2 is more Agent 47 has a past that he's forgotten, and this Lucas guy is like another from like the same camp that trained Agent 47 but escaped, but Agent 47 thought he was dead, and there's the Constant, and there's Janus and like the Ark Society, and yeah, like that. It's more convoluted, it's more involved, and I think it is also exacerbated by not having fully produced cutscenes, and they just have gone for, it's the exact same aesthetic, but it's like just sort of like basically like screenshots of a full 3D animated cutscene. And I wish that if they were going to go that way, they should have just done something like Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker or something.
That's what I was going to say. Or just normal Metal Gear Solid, where it's two portraits and just voices.
Yeah.
Like, that would even be better. But I agree, the Metal Gear Solid, like, comic book thing would...
Yeah, just go, like, full stylized 2D thing, and it will look a lot better. And it's not necessarily, again, like... I do not care if the story is bad. I don't care if it doesn't make total sense. I don't want it to. Like, it's only what... Like, I only care about getting into the level... And I think that like the storytelling in the levels is better than it was in Hitman Season 1.
Yeah,
I think
because when you get into levels, nothing feels lower budget. You know, it feels just
exactly.
as well produced, if not much more so, because they're so much bigger and more interconnected. But yeah,
because I actually really love the because sort of the setup for that last level is that they're holding the funeral for Janus, who you killed in Whittleton Creek, and that's a dynamic I love. I love that you're there and all these people are like, what? So what happened to him? What's going on? It's like, and you're there the whole time being like, I fucking fucked that dude up. That's what happened. I went in.
I poisoned his tea.
I blew him up. I went in. One of my favorite ones that you can do with Janus is you can loosen the valve on his like oxygen tank and then put a pack of cigarettes there that he smokes. And he's like, I'm old, like, whatever, who gives a shit if I actually smoke? But then it's like, well, you should give a shit because as soon as you light that match, boom, motherfucker, and I'm gone. I've escaped on this little raft on a river.
I like when you pretend to be his doctor and you just smother him while giving him a checkup. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So that, like, those elements and, like, the little bits of story that are there, I love. There's also a really great detail in the last map, that if you do the one where you hide in the coffin as Janus's body, and you hear all the people coming up, like talking to the corpse, being like, "Oh, I wish I could have met you, Janus. You were such a great man, forming the Ark Society and all this." And one of them says, "It's like your assassination of Jasper Knight was legendary." And Jasper Knight is the dude in the second tutorial mission that is like the fake mock-up tutorial for Hitman.
That's where I knew that name from. Okay.
Yeah, that he's the one you can kill with like the jet like escape hatch thing and all of that. Like that is a mock-up version of the assassination that Janus, who was a legendary Cold War Russian assassin and spy, he did that. And you're following like the framework of his assassination. Like those little details are all over the place in Hitman 2, and that shit's really cool. It is the cutscenes in between. I agree that they feel very cheap and confusing and kind of meandering and pointless. And if they're going to do it, you're not going to do the full like sexy looking 3D CG cutscenes, you should go for like a more stylized look.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's like one of the few games on Earth where I could say that about, where it's like the story and cutscenes are fucking gibberish, but it doesn't matter. But it really doesn't. But I just think it's interesting to kind of like dive into there. So yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of games with stories, that's a terrible. This game doesn't even really have a story.
Okay, it's a very bad segue there.
Persona dancing. There's kind of a story there. No, I've been playing more. I am deep into Persona 3 Dancing Moon Knight, which is called Dancing in Moonlight in the United States. I've decided I'm going to try to fully complete that game before top 10 time, just so I feel like I have a good grasp. Because again, I played both of these games very thoroughly in Japanese, but I did not understand all the stuff in the Commu events, and I wound up skipping through a lot of them. So I've been watching the Commu events. Because the Commu events, they're called socials in America, because they are very long and they mostly just play out as like cutscenes, you can have them just auto-advance.
Yeah.
I was the other day doing the most ADD thing I've ever done, and I had those running while playing Smash Brothers on my Switch.
Jesus.
It was fun. It worked.
I mean, that makes it, because it's like you'd only really need the audio.
Yeah.
There's a couple of like them that have like the visuals have a good like gag in them. But
and I was watching, I could look up and watch, and I did have to every once in a while just reach over and press X so I could select a dialogue option.
Right, yeah.
Some of which are very good. And then today
some of the dialogue options are very funny.
Yes, and today I was working on my computer and I was doing that. So I'm about halfway through all the social events. They are, when you're not just skipping through them because they're not in your mother tongue, they are very, very long. But it's good. Yeah, Some of them are very funny. Elizabeth, as you said when we reviewed this in Japanese, is the star of the game. She's so funny.
It's just every fucking comedy event she has is fucking hysterical.
And when she shows up in other people's events, she's great. Just as LP, it's great. I think, from what I can tell, they've done a very faithful job, keeping just how goofy she is. It's the actress. Like, I'm surprised how much of the Persona 3 dub cast is still there.
Right, yeah, considering that game came out in 2006.
Yeah, and it's, other than the voices that needed to be recast because they were bad, like Ken and Fuka, they're all still there.
Yeah.
And new Ken is okay. He's very similar to old Ken. New Fuka, I have to say, is a great Fuka voice.
Yeah, I didn't have much experience with her, but she was in the Persona 4 Arena games, and she was good there.
She's really good because her commu events are really fun and interesting and entertaining, so I've enjoyed those. I enjoy Elizabeth's. I don't know if there's as many standout ones here for me. Like, I like Junpei's are pretty funny. Mitsuru's are okay. I think they get a little bogged down. But, anyway, they are fun to watch. Just kind of go through them. I still love the whole way, how much you are rewarded for doing those in the main dancing game and how much the dancing game rewards you for going and doing the social link stuff. Yeah. Like, it's a really good back and forth between those two systems. Obviously, the dances themselves are great. Again, we've kind of covered most of the gameplay stuff when we reviewed these in Japanese, so I don't have a ton to add other than I did, I have played more of the social link stuff, and they are very good. The dub is, again, outstanding, as it always is with the Persona games, and I'm really glad I'm getting to play these and fully understand everything they're saying, because there's some fun story stuff there. It's light. It's not as much of a story as Persona 4 had, where the characters kind of developed in some ways, but at the same time, kind of what I want out of this is more of just the fan service-y, let's hang out. Like, there's the event, maybe the funniest event I've seen so far, is where you go to Junpei's room, and Elizabeth is there, and she starts talking about how she put the rooms together, and starts embarrassing Junpei, and then she starts talking about how hard it was to recreate all the magazines under his bed.
Right, yeah.
Fucking hilarious, and, Vic Mignogna as Junpei is so great, and I forget the name of the woman who plays Elizabeth, but she's so funny. All the Aigis ones are really good too. I feel like the actress who plays Aigis now, maybe she's leaning more into the Nanako side of it just a little bit, or maybe it's just because the audio is cleaner these days.
Right.
But I can hear the Nanako in there a little more, which is funny, but it is still a great, obviously, performance of Aigis. But yeah, they're really fun and goofy, and man, the songs are fun to play. And they've put out a lot of free DLC for the English versions, more than there was for the Japanese versions. So I've gotten to play some of the extra songs they added, like Shinjiro has a dance now, which is really good, and so does Akechi from Persona 5, which reminds me of the one that the killer, not to spoil who it is, had in Persona 4. It's not as hard as that one, but it's very entertaining to see him just be evil and dancing. So yeah, I mean, these games are great. We've recommended them many times. We will probably talk about them next week in some capacity.
Yes.
So
I have not finished my top 10 list, but
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I think these are great. I'm really excited. The one thing that sucks about them is that there's too much of it because there's two games, and I want to play both. But I'm doing the Persona 3 one right now, and then I'll get back to the Persona 5 one. But every so often I see my brother playing the Persona 5 one, and I'm like, I want to play that in, put that in, and do the Morgana dance. My other favorite jokes, I have to say, in the social events is when Elizabeth will just start talking about characters from the other games, and she sounds like a fucking lunatic, and she's not actually saying anything crazy. She's just describing the other games. And it's like, they have a cat and a fox and a crow. And that one it's just a great joke.
Yeah.
So these are very rewarding if you are fans of the Persona series. I don't know why you would play them if you weren't fans, but hey, maybe you pick up Persona 3 Dancing Moon Night, you're like, this is really good music, and then you go play Persona 3.
It would be an interesting order, but,
I wouldn't recommend it, but, to each their own.
I mean, I think you would be able, I would not recommend picking up these games if you have never no experience with Persona. But if, you're roommates with someone that has them, you'll probably like the music. And, and you could enjoy playing the game without the context.
Yes, it's very good. Any other video games we want to talk about, Sean?
I don't think so. It's just been a lot of Hitman. I will say, so I started playing some of the Hitman 1 content now in Hitman 2, and that is very cool. Nice. And it is really fun to be able to go in and just, because I'm almost level 20 mastery with Paris, and I only put 2 hours yesterday. But it was just oh my god, I can just fucking destroy this map so quickly.
I'm excited to try that. Yeah. It also makes me excited because I could conceivably not forever, but for now, delete Hitman 1 from my PS4 because it's taking up a lot of space.
Yes, yeah.
Because it got big over the years. Hitman 2 has gotten very big, and I could just save some space. Because I tried to install some of the Spider-Man updates yesterday so I could use the Sam Raimi suit, which I should say is really cool. Have you played with it yet?
I have not played it yet. I downloaded because the last piece of DLC also came out, so I downloaded that and I just haven't started playing it.
Yeah, I was showing it to Thomas because I was trying to convince him, like, play Spider-Man for fuck's sake. Every time I recommend a game, you play it and you love it and you get obsessed with it.
Yeah, but he waits 2 years.
Yes. So anyway, I think he is actually going to start playing Spider-Man. But because I showed him it, and I'm like, look how cool this Sam Raimi costume is. It's molded so perfectly, it's even got, the abs from the Sam Raimi
and it's
movies.
got, the raised webbing texture.
Yep.
Yeah, because I watched the video.
It looks neat. But anyway...
One thing before we move on, I just remembered about Hitman that I want to say, for other people that are listening to this podcast playing Hitman 2, there's a feature in the game that I had been wishing that Hitman had forever, that I did not realize was in the game, that also I later found out they added into the Game of the Year version of Hitman 1, which is you can change the default loadout of weapons on specific maps. So instead of having to go in and every single time you play a map, just go...
This is good, yeah.
Because they always start you with normal coins and fiber wire, and for me, I haven't unlocked the shuriken yet in Hitman 2, but when I do, the default loadout on almost every map other than Bangkok where you don't need the lockpick is lockpick and shuriken, because if you don't know in Hitman, the shuriken is just a coin you can kill someone with, and it's the words to live by. And so I
want that on a card. A shuriken is just a coin you can kill people with.
Yeah, because you can throw them on the ground and it's the same kind of distraction as a coin. Anyways, but I played all of Hitman 1. Every single time I loaded into a map, I would go in and change all that shit to, and sometimes I would bring in a poison vial or whatever, but usually I just wanted the lockpick and I just wanted the shuriken. For Hitman 2, every single one, it was lockpick and the outstanding distinction coins or whatever you get from playing Hitman 1 when you load up Hitman 2. And I found out that if you are on the level preparation screen has those 3 boxes on the left. The top one is objectives, the middle one is loadout, and the bottom one is your difficulty and selected to go. And if you are hovered over the middle one, that is the loadout selection one, if you press square, it will change the default loadout. And there's a little tooltip at the bottom of the screen that tells you that. But because you are never ever selected on that box, you just never see it. The game never draws attention to it. And I just randomly noticed it about a week ago when I was playing, because I think it was when I was still playing on the neighborhood, the Whittleton Creek map, and I noticed, I'm like, oh my god, how long has this been here for? And I started trying to find videos of Hitman 1 on YouTube, because I loaded up Hitman 1 and saw it was in the Game of the Year version. I was like, there's no fucking way that this was in here the whole time. And I actually ended up going back and watching some of our Hitman 1 Let's Plays, because that was pre-Game of the Year version.
Yes.
And it wasn't in that version. So I only feel like a little bit of an idiot, because if that had been Hitman the entire time, I would have felt like a massive moron with the amount of time I played that game to have never noticed. But, so it is very hard to notice. They should make it more clear or put up a message that says you can do this. But you can do it, so I'm putting that message out
so
to the
good.
world.
Good God, yes, that should be in big bright letters when you launch the game.
Yes,
that is such a useful feature.
It's so tremendously useful. People should just if you haven't done it yet, go into all those maps and change that shit and be like, okay, now I always go in with the lockpick and I never have to pick the lockpick again.
All right. Well, Sean, are you ready for my fun Christmas surprise we're gonna do?
Yes, I have been waiting with bated breath for a week plus, I feel like, at this point, to find out what the fuck are we doing. What is this podcast, Jonathan?
I did it. I found the worst Christmas album.
Okay. Oh.
Ever. I found the worst one.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to listen to a little bit of it, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to do a live reaction. We're going to do a little Weekly Stuff Reacts.
Okay.
So here, let me tell you the story, Sean. A few weeks ago, this is actually, I say a few weeks, this was 2 months ago, and I've been saving it for this episode. 2 months ago, I saved this, I'm like, we're going to use this one day, I don't know when, and then I realized we were going to have a Christmas Eve podcast, and I'm like, bread and butter, baby, this is perfect. And what it is one day I was on Apple Music. You can also do this on Spotify. It's on all these services. And I was searching for some Pokemon music, because I was trying to find the original theme song. I want to be the very best. I wanted to see if that was on...
Yeah,
I wanted to see if that was on Apple Music. I don't know if it was, because the first thing that came up is an album called Pokemon Christmas Bash. Did you know this was a thing, Sean?
Fucking no.
No. This came out in like 2000, like around the time Pokemon was big.
Oh, so it's from our generation of Pokemon.
Yes.
It is contemporary with I Want to Be the Very Best.
Yes. This is from the original dub. Like, if you look on the cover, like, the newest Pokemon on it is Totodile. So it's like, it was from the Johto era. So, like, you know, Pokemon 3 might have been out in theaters.
Yeah.
So, like, 2000, 2001, I don't know the exact date. It's got the entire original dub cast. So, you know, Brock, Ash, Misty, Professor Oak, and they did a bunch of Christmas songs. And I don't just mean they, like, did Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I mean, they wrote new Christmas songs and had the Pokemon cast perform them. And they are the worst fucking, but also most amazing songs. And I need the people to know about this.
Jesus Christ. Because, like, one, like, piece of context here is I would not necessarily be surprised if something like this existed with the Japanese cast of Pokemon, because it's relatively common with how, like, interlocked the like music industry and the seiyuu or voice actor industry is in Japan. It's very common for shows to have original music that are like the opening and ending themes are performed by the cast and stuff like that, and then create like character songs basically of like an album of the different actors singing different songs written for them or doing covers sometimes.
This is like that, but bad.
But with an English dubcast from the year 2000s.
Yeah.
For Pokemon.
Okay, so Sean, here's how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
We're going to go old school a little bit with this. I'm going to just pump the music through my speakers, and that'll go into the mic. It's going to be tinny. But again, this is on... They put this on all the streaming services, Sean. This is on Spotify. This is on Apple Music. You can get this if you want for free anywhere. So you can go listen to it. But you're going to hear it here. We will just live react, and you can tell me stop if you want to just stop and comment on it. Because we have some songs that we're going to listen to, Sean. Because these are amazing.
Jonathan, how is this year on the podcast one of like the recurring trends? It's not Digimon or something. For this year, the podcast, it was strange novelty albums from old entertainment properties that nobody knows about that we discovered randomly and talked about on the podcast. Because we had Rock Reflections of a Superhero right before you left for Iowa, and now we have this Pokemon album. What the fuck's going on?
I don't know. It's very weird because also both of those existed for years.
Yes. I mean, yeah, mine existed for like 4 decades.
Yes. And this is the direct qualitative inverse of yours. I just want you to know.
Because again, Rock Reflections of Superhero is very good.
All right.
So I'm sure this is going to be great.
So Sean, we are starting with track number 1, which is called Pokemon Christmas Bash, also the title of the album.
Great.
If I can get it to play.
So Ikue Otani is on this album as Pikachu.
Yes.
We got a little bit of Pika Pika. That's good to know.
Yep. They've got her sampled in there.
Yeah.
Christmas, the time of year for peace on earth and to spread good cheer. A bash, a rocking party, filled with fun where the laughter is party.
So I think that's the Pokedex rapping.
Yes, I'm pretty sure you're right. That's the Pokedex, the actor in character as the Pokedex rapping. That's a feature that we didn't have in Red and Blue.
No, the Pokedex did not rap for us.
Yeah.
It's the Pokemon Christmas Bash with Team Rocket, Brock, Misty, and Ash. So without further ado, here's a Pokemon holiday greeting for you.
This is about to get really good. I'm just going to warn y'all. The Pokedex is not the only one who raps. Oh my god, the rhyme! Brock's kicking it and it's a gas. I can't believe this exists. Oh my god.
I mean, they did the thing that you are legally required to do if you write a rap song sung by someone named Brock. You say, I'm Brock and I'm back on the block. It's the only way you can start a rap by Brock. It's you if you're not like you are taken out and shot by the rap gods.
Yes. Oh my god, okay, we're just getting started here.
Who is that Pokemon? Importantly, An important thing to note is they keep on asking who's that Pokemon. There have been no Pokemon featured in this rap so far. We've gotten exactly one person, which is Brock, and the other person was the Pokedex. So
Yes. I don't know if Pikachu has a rap. I'll be honest, I have not listened to the full versions of most of these songs.
okay, well, obviously we'll discover something together then.
Yes. This is not a bad hook, I have to say.
I
It's
mean,
okay.
you're just pulling it from the Pokemon rap.
Yeah,
so
it is.
That's a quality song. That didn't rhyme.
With a twist on deck the halls, we got a Christmas tree full of Pokeballs. Hey Santa, if you're really listening, my wish list has only one thing. Just give me one dance with Ash at the Pokemon Christmas Bash.
Was Misty in love with Ash?
No, but on this album she is. It is the weirdest thing about this very weird album is that if you listen to it, Ash and Misty are, well, it's not just, they are very into each other, which they never were on the show.
Yeah, there was
But
like
even-
some vague sexual tension, but the vague sexual tension of a cartoon for 8-year-olds.
Yes. Also, Misty never even really liked Ash, was
Yeah.
like the plot. But no, she wants to fuck the shit out of Ash in this one. I'll skip ahead.
Ash.
Okay, Ash is about to rap, guys.
I want Ash. Give me Ash.
Okay.
Squirtle. Ash here with Pikachu. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, too. The holidays wouldn't be the same without roasting chestnuts on Charizard's flame. Santa, can you help me go
That rhythm didn't
faster?
work.
To become a Pokemon master. Gotta catch 'em all down to the last. That's a Pokemon Christmas Bash.
That didn't rhyme.
No, none of that rhymed.
I mean, it was a near rhyme with last and bash, but no. If it's bash, you can rhyme a million words with bash. Come on, you don't need to reach for that one.
Team Rocket's doing something shocking. This year we're going to fill your stocking. Take a break from causing trouble. Jesse.
James, and make that double. We thought we'd change our ways and be nice on Christmas Day.
Team Rocket's having a blast. At the Pokemon Christmas Bash.
That wasn't bad.
What? Yeah, I should have known the Team Rocket rap would actually be kind of okay. Particularly Jesse and James. They fucking, yeah.
They can do it. James actually has a pretty sexy voice there.
Yeah, James does it like Jesse. I think Jesse was the most successful blending of I'm both singing and I'm in character. The other ones, it was very tenuous.
Oh, yeah. Because none of these people, I don't know if they can sing in real life, but they can't
Yeah.
sing in those voices. All right, let's see what else we got.
Having a blast.
Okay, that's it. Just the
Yeah.
hook for the rest of the song. Okay.
I love how very obviously clear it is when they say that Ash is like, and Pikachu's here too. And it's just Pika, and it's like, no, that's just a voice sample from the show. You did like fucking Ikoue Otani did not. They didn't get her in the studio in Japan and like send over voice samples for this rap.
No, that would have cost money.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're one song in.
Yes, I've been desperately trying to find the lyrics to these on the internet, and it is basically incomprehensible.
Okay.
So I'm going to give up on that approach, and I'll just go in with my ears.
All right. So Sean, we now have the second song. I'm giving Santa a Pikachu this Christmas, but
Wait, what?
in the version they submitted to Apple Music, it says I'm giving Santa a Pikachu. They misspelled several words on the track list on this album, at least on the streaming version. You'll also notice they spelled karaoke wrong at the bottom here.
Yeah, they tried to do it more phonetically in English, I guess.
Yes. But yes, so let's listen to I'm Giving Santa a Pikachu.
So before we go into the song, like one thing I'm very curious about, just like before, something to listen for. Do they not know what Santa Claus is? Because you don't give Santa Claus things. Santa Claus gives you things. You
It's
can give
addre-
Santa Claus like cookies, maybe. But
It's addressed in the song.
okay, because that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's just my thinking going in.
Yeah. So this is, I should say, a Professor Oak song.
Oh, good.
And it is weird as shit. So let's listen to it.
Every Christmas, old Santa brings presents for me. He leaves plenty of packages under the tree.
Then why did that sound like
This
double
year,
entendre,
I
though, was it?
have a surprise for Saint Nick, and it's something that's going to give him a kick.
Yeah, this sounds weirdly sexual.
Yeah, like, especially with you, come on, you really wanted to rhyme that kick with dick. Like, that's like, it's going to give him a kick. And, when he comes down that chimney, I'm going to have him suck my dick. Like, whatever, there's so many lines you could go with that. But this Professor Oak has it for fucking Santa.
It's the way he is singing with a sultry voice.
Yeah.
What is it, Professor?
I'm giving Santa a Pikachu this Christmas.
Wow. Just like the one you gave to me?
That's right. I'll hide it in my stocking, and you'll find it rather shocking.
Okay, so Professor Oak wants to kill Santa Claus is what I'm getting out of this.
Or Pikachu just means... So this is another thing. Just... Pikachu's penis. Just go... He's going to find my Pikachu in my stocking, and he's going to find it rather shocking. This is my... I have no idea if that is going to work for the rest of the song. That's just my prediction.
Pikachu is a phallic object.
Yes.
Yes.
Cause giving gifts to Santa's quite a novelty.
Okay.
I'm giving Santa a Pikachu this Christmas.
I bet he'll scratch his beard and say, "Now Christmas Eves will be a breeze as long as I have one of these on foggy flights through winter nights to light my way."
Again, Pikachu's a penis here.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
as long as I have one of these.
Yes.
Yeah.
Small, furry, with, big red cheeks.
Its Thundershock will twirl a million candy canes
And power up a slew of new
electric trains. I'm giving Santa a Pikachu this Christmas, cause Santa's got a lot of work to do.
Again.
Yeah, no, it's...
Yeah.
Although, if you're just taking the song very literally... He's saying, I'm going to give Santa a Pikachu so that he can use the Pikachu to, power shit. Which is, that... I know the, relationship between, Pokemon and, slavery and cockfighting is all, funny to point out. But usually there's, oh, we're friends and we're going on this big adventure. This is just, I'm going to sell this Pikachu to you and you're going to, use him to, power shit. Which is, the plot that a villain would have in a fucking episode of the Pokemon show. So...
Yeah.
Professor Oak, whether you're taking it sexually or not, they kind of fucked up.
As the clock strikes every hour,
he'll be using Pika Power to bring Christmas toys to girls and boys.
and grown-ups too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
With Pikachu, his sleigh will fly so fast, about 1,000 times as fast as Christmas past. I'm giving Santa a Pikachu this Christmas.
It'll be the best friend Santa ever had.
Be the only friend. Santa doesn't have friends, Ash.
Yeah.
Come on.
Sean, how long do you think they spent writing these songs?
Fucking they went out for brunch at a Denny's and wrote it on the goddamn napkin. Come on.
You'll have fun with Pikachu, and Pikachu's gonna have fun too.
Playing up in Santa's workshop, say, that's not bad.
Okay, that got too real for me, Sean.
Yeah.
Is Pikachu consenting to this?
Do Pokemon have the capacity to consent? I think that's a legal discussion to have in the Pokemon universe.
It's chilly at the North Pole.
So, I'm told, but with so much warmth in both their hearts, they'll never feel the cold.
That wasn't a rhyme. What the hell was that?
Half of the shit doesn't rhyme.
All right, I think we're done with this song.
Yeah, it's disturbing. Professor Oak should not be giving out Pokemon to young children.
All right,
I think
so-
we can all think about that.
2 songs in, Sean. I'm going to set the scene. Imagine you were a parent in 2003. And remember, parents in that time wouldn't have been people who played games themselves when they were younger.
Yeah, I had parents in 2003.
Yeah, same here. And you bought this for your kids for Christmas thinking that, it might be okay. And then you had to listen to them listen to this. Oh. Good God, that would be hell. The people who wrote this hate parents.
Especially if you're expecting to get songs of the caliber of I Want to Be the Very Best.
Yes.
Which these are, so far, have not hit that lofty bar.
All right, the next 2 of these, we're not going to do the full thing. We're building up to the big one here. But I'm going to play you a little bit of Misty's song, Winter is the Coolest Time of Year.
That is just accurate.
This is the girl doo-wop number.
Oh.
Bundle up tight or a snowball fight, 'cause winter
That's not a song. I don't even know what are those lyrics. There's no sense of real rhythm there. They're not trying to rhyme. They're just saying things.
There's rhymes, but they're like the first line of the rhyming dictionary rhymes. It's
Yeah.
like slopes, hopes. There you go. I'm going to skip later into the song to see if anything funny happens.
Me too.
Oh.
Build it better, don't it?
That's
Ash shows up.
Ash shows up. Okay, we're going to start from like a minute and a half in.
Let's make a snowman. Come on, guys. Let's make a snowman. I have a better idea, Misty. What's that, Ash?
I'm gonna give you a Pikachu.
Make a snowman. Perfect. How about a tentacool? Or a refrigioto? Let's build a butterfreeze.
Could we continue this discussion inside, where it's warm?
Oh, come on, Brock. It's cool out here.
Yeah, too cool.
Misty, we gotta get Brock to chill out. I know how. Me too.
Well, no, that's no guys.
Okay, so they're doing something to Brock. Brock didn't consent to that. But anyway, how many puns did they fit into those like 10 seconds?
Yeah,
that was bad.
Butterfreeze.
Yeah.
That's yeah,
Good stuff.
Butterfree
Okay.
freeze.
Okay,
Good.
so we can tell this album's awful.
Oh yeah.
Let's move on. Now, Sean, there's a song next called Nobody Don't Like Christmas. Initially, I thought, well, we know the title tracks here have a lot of, like, obviously typos here, so maybe that's a typo. What character in the Pokemon universe would sing Nobody Don't Like Christmas? Why would you give a solo to Meowth?
Nobody don't like Christmas. It's the happy day that everybody loves. It's the snowflakes drifting down as the folks all over town are trimming trees and knitting gloves.
What was gloves a rhyme with?
It's just-
Okay, one, I just realized how much Meowth is clearly Gilbert Gottfried.
yeah.
Like, they're like the third-rate, Gilbert Gottfried, but that's what they're trying to do. By the way, Sean, this is the second longest song on the album.
Oh God. Yeah. It also just like, it's been a very long time since I watched the Pokemon show. But as with like Misty and Ash not being a couple, my recollection of Mouth would be that he would be the Grinch of the group. That'd be like, fuck Christmas.
I agree.
Who needs Christmas?
Also, I mean, the elephant in the room is Christmas is not a thing in Pokemon because it's a Japanese show, and there is no point where there's a Christmas Pokemon episode. There are winter episodes, but nobody celebrates
Yeah,
Christmas.
and there's no KFC in the Pokemon world, so
No.
it's none of that.
There's there's KFF, Kentucky Fried Farfetched.
Exactly.
Yeah, but other than that,
Comes
okay.
with its own seasonings. That's not even my joke. That's the Pokemon makes that
I
joke
know.
for you.
Let's listen to a little more of Meowth's song.
Some people don't like Easter. Oh,
What? Where are you going with this, Meowth?
Okay, yeah, let's get more of the line.
but Easter eggs, the Easter bunnies bring. When the chocolate hits their lips, it goes directly to their hips. And they pack on 10 pounds every spring.
So, okay, let me try to follow Meowth's logic.
Yeah.
People don't like Easter because you get fat from the candy. Why didn't that go to Halloween?
Yeah, why did I go to Halloween? And also, people eat a lot of sweets during Christmas also. You stupid cat.
I'm actually fascinated in this song. Let's
Yeah,
go.
he's making like an argument about people liking Christmas, which is more than I thought this song was going to go to.
But nobody don't like Christmas. It's the time of year that everyone adores.
It's not much of an
It's
argument.
holly jolly everywhere. Santa's downtown in the square, and in all them real high class department stores. Some people don't like New Year's. December 31st's the night they dread. They may be blowing on noisemakers, but they're all a bunch of fakers, 'cause they'd rather all be home asleep in bed.
Okay, here's the thing. That rhyme could have gone very differently. They could have all been home dead because New Year's is famously a time of high suicides. I thought that's where he was going with that, and I was terrified for a second that Meowth was going to be singing about people killing themselves on New Year's.
Also, what's this order? Easter and then New Year's, then Easter. New Year's is fucking at least follow the calendar. What is this?
But
The piano's okay.
Yeah, I mean, they've hired a musician to play the music.
Yeah.
nobody don't like Christmas, and it doesn't matter if you're young or old. It's filled with color and surprise. It's right before your eyes. The world lights up in red and green and gold.
again, I don't. These rhymes, man, they're all throwing me for a loop.
Yeah, and I just feel like he's not putting up much of an argument for why Christmas is better than these other holidays he's dissing.
No, I would love to ask the people who wrote this album if they could tell us where Christmas comes from.
Yeah.
Because it does not sound like... I don't think anyone's going to be singing here about the birth of Christ.
Nobody don't like Christmas because that's when we celebrate the birth of our Savior.
Yeah, they're not going to get into that.
St. Valentine's Day is the day you could hate if you
Bless you.
never been out on a date. And the 4th of July can be a real trip.
Wait, pause it. They don't have the 4th of July in fucking Pokemon World. Like they really don't. Like, they don't have Christmas. They really don't have the fucking independence of America.
Yes, I can understand. Christmas is at least like you could do a generic winter solstice holiday. All cultures have something like that.
Yes.
Or like a celebration of it.
Yeah, and New Year's is
yeah.
something that transcends American culture. But you don't have 4th of July in Pokemon World as much as you don't have, like, fucking Cinco de Mayo or something, you
Yes.
know?
I gotta hear what other holidays he's gonna do.
Yeah.
No one to salute your flag.
Oh, God. How did this make it out the door, Sean?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But nobody
Little flare.
don't like Christmas. It's a time of peace and love and brotherhood. 'Cause when you make peace with your brother and you say, I love you, mother, Santa Claus will know that you've been good.
This is not Meowth. This is very weird. This is not the Meowth I know.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be part of the evil team that goes and steals Pikachu every episode and then gets blasted away.
They're still having him do the James Cagney impression, but not being evil like James Cagney.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's okay. It's very weird. All right. I think this song is probably...
Yet, days go. Thanksgiving yet. St. Patrick's Day's go. Arbor Day is pouring. And who wants to go through all that Yom Kippurin?
Okay, one, he insulted the Irish.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. But then Yom Kippur... What did Yom Kippur do to you, you racist piece of shit?
Yeah, this got very uncomfortable once it went into, like, culturally specific holidays.
Okay, I just gotta hear if Meowth has anything to say on Kwanzaa, so
Yeah.
let's finish this.
But nobody don't like Christmas. And I'll sing it from the top of every tree. Yes, nobody don't like Christmas. I say nobody don't like Christmas. And nobody don't like Christmas.
Okay, we're done with that.
Yeah.
They ran out of lyrics. They just had him sing the main line over and over again. It had increased. Like, did the voice actors just have to go get their fucking vocal cords scraped after this? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that song went places I wasn't expecting from something called Nobody Don't Like Christmas.
Apologies to all the Irish and everyone who celebrates Yom Kippur. Sorry about that.
It's just, you know, it's this weird, you know, thinking about Christianity and the relationship to Christmas and, like, you know, the dominant culture. It's just it's a lot of food for thought, I think, that you can go into analyzing Nobody Don't Like Christmas. The most academically fascinating song we've listened to so far.
But we haven't hit the best one yet, Sean.
Oh, good.
This song is called I Keep My Home in My Heart. And and I have to be honest, it's the reason we're doing this. So, let's go.
All right. I'm already into this.
Yeah, listen to that bass line. It's good.
Brock, what's wrong? Aren't you having a good time?
Oh, sure, Misty.
Then come back inside and join the party.
I will in a second.
Brock, are you crying?
No, it's just cold out here, and I'm...
What?
Alright, so let's... This is what we got. Brock is crying, but he's too man to admit it. It's just cold out here, and I'm...
I'm thinking about Christmas back home. In Pewter City, the lights are pretty. And even though I love to roam, on Christmas Eve I make believe I'm home. I close my eyes and I see my friends, my family, the happy times that I share with all the people who care. I'll be so far away from them on Christmas Day, and though we may be apart, I keep my home in my heart.
Alright,
This song fucking rules, Jonathan. What the fuck? One, this has nothing to do with Pokemon at all. You know, like, it's just Brock is singing it.
He says Pewter City. That's it.
He says Pewter City, but that could be like, this really feels like whoever wrote these songs, like, wrote this song when they're like 16, or at least the lyrics. They're like, this bass line rocks. This is great. And it's like, there's something very real about this, like, oh, I'm away from home, and it's Christmas, and I miss my home. Like, that's a good setup and, like, emotion to try to convey through a Christmas, like, kind of rock song. The main problem is, what fucking family and friends does Brock have in Pewter City? Like, the only people he knows, as far as we know, is fucking Ash and Misty and all the women that he sexually harasses along the way. Like, that's Brock's entire life. There's no sense that he's... Like, I don't even know is he fucking 18? Is he 30? I don't know. All I know is he's a fucking pervert and he should be in jail. And that's it. Like, what?
And he also never opens his eyes.
Yes, you know, he's because he always has them closed because he's always, like, picturing naked women because he's just fucking that bad.
He has them tattooed on the inside of his eyelids.
Exactly, yeah. It's bad. Let's see. I want to hear some more of this fucking slapping tune, Jonathan.
I know how you feel, Brock.
You too?
Sure, I love it here, but I miss Cerulean City a little too.
At least Misty has sisters. That's
Yeah.
canon.
Thinking about my sisters back home.
There we go.
The bells would ring to songs we'd sing.
She doesn't slap as much as Brock does.
I love to roam. On Christmas Eve, I make believe I'm home. I close my eyes and
So here's the thing. Misty can actually kind of sing.
Yeah, but, like, not for this kind of music.
No.
Like, this is a Brock-ass fucking Brock song.
It is. So let's skip the fucking the
duet.
chorus. Yeah.
When you're out on your own,
Yeah.
you're always alone.
What?
When you're out on your own, you're always alone. Great fucking line.
He's
you
sing-
know shit. If you're out on your own, you're alone. That's what what both those words mean.
But he's also singing it next to Misty, the person he travels with every day.
Yeah, they've been traveling for like fucking 5 years or something and haven't gotten any older somehow.
When there's somebody there.
but when you know from the start, there's a home in your heart. You can go anywhere.
Oh, key change. We're getting a key
Yeah,
change.
but also, did they just say the line, if you have a hole in your heart from the start, you can go anywhere?
Home in your heart.
Home. Oh, I thought they said hole. I'm like, that is such a bleak, dark, cynical view on life that if you're already empty inside, you have nothing holding you back.
I don't think they put that much thought into it, Sean.
That might just be me.
Are you okay?
I think I'm bringing something to this Pokemon song. It's really hitting me.
I close my eyes and I see.
I'm gonna skip the verse. Yeah, of course.
Maybe apart. I close the hand on Christmas.
Okay, that's the rest of the song. Is the
Yeah,
verse.
it does really feel like they sort of all of these songs they give up about halfway through. Like
Oh, yeah.
we're supposed to write like another verse that changes things up, but we'll just do the chorus 3 more times.
I was very disappointed the key change didn't do anything crazy.
Yeah, I was hoping Ash would come in because Ash is the person you give the song to because he's the one whose family we see. He has a mom and he has a foster dad in Mr. Mime, and he's never home. And he's always going out on these fucking adventures. And that's something that, like, I can see the emotional reality to that. Why do you give this song to fucking Brock other than Brock is the only character that can carry this fucking rockin' ass tune?
Yeah, okay, so we're going to skip the next one, which is a version of the Christmas song. We'll skip that one because I don't need to hear them just sing a normal Christmas
Yeah.
tune. I want to hear Ash and Misty's highly sexualized duet Under the Mistletoe.
Great.
First off, I love the horn.
Yeah.
That's a great touch. You know, I did genuinely appreciate the horn. So far, if this wasn't on the Pokemon album, I'd be like, this could be okay.
Yeah, this could be on Rock Reflections of a Superhero for all I know.
There's a feeling I'm getting, I just can't explain. Making me glad tonight.
Okay, there's a feeling I'm getting I just can't explain, making me glad tonight.
Yeah.
What is Ash singing about?
I also just have to say, like, my condolences to the grown woman that has to try to sing this song as an 8-year-old boy. Like, I don't like how it sounds, but I don't think it's her fault.
Oh, it couldn't sound better.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially
it
with-
sounds like Ash singing. I'll give her that much.
It does.
Maybe it's Christmas, maybe the snow, maybe the mistletoe.
All right, so far we have Ash getting hard under the mistletoe.
I don't want to think about horny Ash. God damn it.
There's a secret I'm keeping that no one can hear. A feeling deep in my heart. Maybe this Christmas my true love will show under the mistletoe.
All right, Misty, who never really showed any interest in love or boys or anything,
Yeah,
now is
there's-
waiting for her true love.
Like, she said she has keeping a secret deep in her heart. It's really deep down because again, it's been a long time, but I watched a lot of that fucking Pokemon show when I was a kid, and that never came up.
Misty is like very tomboyish and
Yeah.
doesn't, they're all like prepubescent. I don't think she's into this yet. But all right, let's listen to what happens
Let's
next.
see where this goes.
All right, Ash is hard and Misty wants her true love.
Jolly old St. Nicholas, before the night is through, there's something very special that I'd like to say to you. Merry, Merry Christmas, and I'd like you to know I'm hoping that I meet someone under the mistletoe. Now there's a crowd at the party.
Okay, why is your instinct? I'm writing a Pokemon Christmas album. It's for kids because it's Pokemon. Our characters are kids because it's Pokemon. We're going to take our two clear, like, prepubescent leads, Ash and Misty, and we're going to do a song about mistletoe. Where does that come from, Sean?
Also, the bad thing about that line that just said, they said, "Old Saint Nicholas, there's something I want you to know. I hope I can meet someone under the mistletoe." Why? Fucking Santa Claus doesn't want to know this. Why are you telling this to old Saint Nick? He doesn't, this is not his business. And it's very risky because you might get put on the naughty list.
It is, yeah. He brings toys, he doesn't bring that kind of toy.
Exactly.
Our friends are all here. Everyone's warm and bright. Maybe I'll meet him where hearts are aglow under the mistletoe.
This is also just very heteronormative, we gotta say.
It's
like,
true,
Why
yeah.
can't Misty be gay? Ash could be gay. We don't know. They're kids. They don't know yet.
I mean, for a second, I thought that's where they were going when Ash started singing the line to Saint Nick. I thought it was going to end with him being like, "Oh, he just wants to make out with Santa Claus," and everyone's been there.
Maybe I'll just stand here and no one will know I'm under the mistletoe.
Wait, stop. But maybe I'll just stand here and nobody will know that I'm under the mistletoe. Like, what is he trying? Is he like trying to lay some sort of mistletoe trap for someone? Like,
I think he got it.
Nobody's going to see, nobody's going to notice, and then once someone comes over to talk to me, I'm like, "Gotcha, motherfuckers, mistletoe. Now I'm going to Brock you."
I think he got the advice from Brock. I think this is a trick that Brock taught him because Brock is a very bad
Why
friend.
this is why 10-year-old boys shouldn't hang out with 30-year-old men that never open their eyes.
Boy, this party sure is crowded. Hey, wait a minute. There's Christmas cookies over there. Let's go get some, Pikachu. Hi, Ash.
Pikachu.
Hi, Misty. Great party, huh? Yeah, we were just going to get something to eat. Hey, did you see Miss Joy? Yeah, maybe you should go tell Brock. Maybe not. Anyway, can we squeeze past you? We're pretty hungry. Oh, sure. Okay.
Okay, this is all very weird. Here's another question I have. Where's this party that they're having for and why aren't they home for it? Like, why wouldn't this be back in, like, Ash's hometown?
Yeah, Palatown.
Yeah. Where are they having a Christmas party? And why is Nurse Joy there? And why? I don't get this. The canon of this makes no sense to me.
It's very confusing, and it's like the whole character dynamic they're setting up here. Like, oh, Ash and Misty both like each other, want to be together, but they don't know it or they're not expressing it. It feels like it's like a weird fanfic song that someone is like, "This is my slash." It's Ash Misty, which is like not very creative, not interesting, but whatever. That's where you are.
Well, now I want the fucking song about Mr. Mime and Ash's mom.
Yeah, that's your shit. Well, that's canonical. That's just real.
I know, but I still want the song about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not on here. That's not a segue.
It's
Okay.
not, sadly.
Oh, I
no.
thought you were segueing into something I didn't want to hear about.
I mean, I haven't listened to the Night Before Christmas one. I think it's just them reading the story. But that'd be pretty great if it was Ash's mom singing about what she did with Mr. Mime the night before Christmas.
I don't want to think about that.
Jolly old St. Nicholas feature.
All right, let's skip the chorus.
Maybe he'll find out. You just never know. Under the mistletoe.
Little break there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. All right.
I'll go. Amy, this Christmas nothing to eat? Yeah. Ash, did you realize we're standing under the mistletoe? Huh? Ash, where are you going? I'm getting some Christmas cookies. You just...
Well, that's a cop-out.
Yeah. Boo.
Boo. Boo. All right. There's a song called Must Be Santa. I don't really want to listen to it. There's a Night Before Christmas one, and it ends with a Christmas medley. I don't know what that's a medley of, so we're going to listen to it.
Okay, I do also want to point out when I was visualizing, think about also with that mistletoe song, the entire time Ash was under that mistletoe with Pikachu.
Yeah.
And that's, maybe that's what that song is really about, is that Ash can't see the true love right in front of him the whole time.
All right.
Great start. Great start.
That's the best part of the entire album. That was great.
Here's your chance to sing along now. We love
So
Pokemon.
Ash is in there.
So do you. Raise your voice in Yuletide song now. All the tunes are old, the words are new.
Okay, that's bad.
Yeah. I was hoping from that start that the whole thing would be Team Rocket, and then Ash and Misty are in that medley. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck
Okay.
off.
Everybody knows this one.
Running, dashing through the snow with a horsey on our sleigh. Slowpoke and slow bro, laughing all the way. Bells cross starts to sing, so does Magnemite. Then King will start to ring the jingle bells tonight. Oh, Pokeballs!
Okay. So that's okay. So the guy
That
who
was a
voices-
lot. That was a lot.
That was a lot. The guy who voices Brock, Eric Stewart. He was also Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know where he is in the world now. I don't hear him much. This exists. This is out there. Do you think he thinks about it? Do you think like he's like stays up at night and like his significant other has to like talk him back into like, you're a good person, you're okay, you don't have to think about that every day. People aren't listening to it and making fun of it on a podcast.
Oh, God.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Because that's bad.
That is bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Pokeballs!
Oh, God, that's bad. Okay, we're skipping ahead.
Here's one of my favorites. Nido King was falling down on his trainer, Steven.
Pause it. Back up. The first line is Nido King was falling down on his trainer, Steven. What? What is this? Is Steven dead?
I don't know.
Because Nido Kings are fucking big.
Yeah, and also they have horns.
Yeah.
Won and then they lost, so the match was even. Nido King returned, he said, I can win this duel. So we crawled for all to hear, I choose Tentacruel.
Okay, they're not even fucking trying. They're just taking Good King Wenceslas. They're not even matching the fucking syllables of the song. This is, oh my god, this somehow got worse at
And
the
it's
end.
just all they're doing, and this is true of the first part of the medley that we listened to, was they're just finding what are Pokemon names that we can throw in here, even if it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't matter. There's nothing special about Nido King that makes him fall on Steven. Poor Steven.
Poor Steven. Okay.
Poor dead Steven.
Oh boy. All right, what else is there?
Is fun. Nurse Joy is a girl, she sure is fun. But I like Jamie too.
Okay.
Don't give Brock songs.
So they took Joy to the World, which is a religious hymnal about the birth of Christ, and replaced it with lyrics about how horny Brock is for these girls he harasses. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's,
Like, I'm not trying to be like, it's sacrilegious, I'm offended. But I think a part of me kind of is offended, weirdly. Like a very deep down part that I've worked to suppress over my life. But it's there.
Yeah, I mean, we should all be offended by Brock 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Rocket Ash! Here we go, a battling Team Rocket once again.
Okay, this is awful. What else have they got?
You's become my butterfree. Oh, Caterpie, it's very odd. First you must be a metapod.
I kind of like this one.
I like that line a lot. Caterpie is very hard because you must be a metapod.
Yeah. Okay, what else we got?
On the 12th day of Christmas, a trainer said to me, 12 Bulbas soaring, 11 Labrys sleeping, 10 tentacrueling, 9 tails are wagging, 8 mucka mucking, 7 squirrels squirting, 6 diglett digging, 5 Goldie.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty good.
5 Goldine. There you go. That's the reason why they did this. Is they're like 5 gold rings, 5 Goldine, done.
Done. And also,
And you don't need to try on any of the other ones. You can just say a Pokemon name in there. 5 Goldine, perfect.
in the sexy James voice.
Yes.
4 Charizard,
3 Ekans,
2 Electabuzz,
and a Farfetch'd with great agility.
No, a Farfetch'd.
I thought they were going to do a Farfetch'd with, like, gravy, is what the lyric was going to be.
Farfetch'd with great agility is maybe one of the worst lines ever composed to any song.
Yeah.
That's profoundly bad. That's worse than the standard of this album, which is phenomenally low.
Okay, let's listen to the last 30 seconds of the album, Sean.
Okay.
Now let's all get together for the big finale. Come on, you sing along too.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish
No!
you a Merry Christmas.
No! You can't just do that. That's not how it works. You can't just replace a word with a Pokemon name. Like, you can only do that with Gold Rings and Goldine because it's so perfect. Other than, no.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
That doesn't
Oh
even
my
make
God.
sense.
That's like what Meryl Streep would put on her Christmas card.
And there would make more sense. It's just, like, Meryl's such a whatever. Who gives a shit about Meryl? Meryl's not a Pikachu or fucking Squirtle or, like, an important Pokemon that you can just throw in there.
All right, let's power through this, Sean.
Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody. And a Happy New Year.
Wait, what did they say?
And a Hoppit New Year. Hoppit is the weird grass Pokemon from Gold and Silver. That's a little pink ball with a green stem on its head.
Fucking shit, dude.
Okay,
Come on.
All right, I think we're done. I'm closing iTunes. We're done with Pokemon Christmas Bash.
Which means the world is done with Pokemon Christmas Bash.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, do you think anyone else has streamed that album in the last 5 years?
No.
No.
God, no.
Okay.
God, no.
So I was pretty into Pokemon at the time this came out. Suffice it to say. I saw all of the first 5 Pokemon movies theatrically, and they didn't do any more theatrically past that because no one was seeing them.
Yeah. You didn't stop seeing the Pokemon movies theatrically because you didn't want to. You stopped because they didn't want to.
Yeah. And I didn't know this existed. I did not know this existed when I was a kid. Who actually got this as a kid? Did you listen to it? Did you like it? I mean, even as a kid, I feel like I would look at that and be like, this is kind of pandering. Fuck off with this.
Yeah, and it's particularly frustrating because, and I understand all the reasons why this wouldn't be on here, but the one thing you'd want, or I would want, on the Pokemon Christmas album is a like classic Christmas tune sung entirely by Pikachu, just saying Pikachu.
Yes.
Which you can't do because they don't, like, the voice actress that plays Pikachu is Ikuo Otani in Japan. And they just used her voice samples that she uses for the Japanese dub.
And she's got a contract and is, part of a system in Japan where she just doesn't do shit like this.
And it's like, I don't want to be rude, but she is above this sort of thing.
You're not being rude.
The character songs that Ikuo Otani is part of are of a higher caliber than this.
Oh yeah. No, that was bad.
Fucking Jesus Christ. What did you do, Jonathan? How did you? Why? Just what?
Was this a good Christmas surprise, Sean?
It was a surprise? Yeah, when I was trying to think of what would be the things we could do, reviewing a Pokemon Christmas album, if you had given me, if this was like heaven sent, and you trapped me in a confession dial, and I had to either figure out what we were going to do on this podcast or spend a billion years punching my way through a wall made out of diamond, I would have had to punch my way through a wall made out of diamond because this would have never come up.
All right. Well, the Spider-Man issue I got you is half just a Christmas gift from a friend, half an apology for what I just put you through.
Apology accepted. Thank you.
All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. Hope you have a good break. We'll be back next week with our top 10 games of the year and the last episode of the season. We'll see you then.
Is ear wash a thing? I think I need ear wash.